Chathany, hello, it's me, Dad. How are you doing on this fine day? Hello, boys. How am I? I couldn't get to sleep until like 5:30 in the morning, and then I woke up at like 8. Then I couldn't get to sleep for like an hour, and I finally did. And then I woke up at 2. One of those days. One of them things. Ugh. Dear merciful God in heaven. Neff blew up your bathroom and you had to replace it. It's still not done, too, and it's not gonna be done until December. That's the rough part. Okay, so apparently, like, the PVC piping underneath the tub is broken. So it's just been leaking out there for, like, a year and a half. And that's a bit of a problem. Ugh. That's not gonna get fixed until December. Also, the floor is caving in. So there's just a bunch of plywood on the floor in there now. I thought every day was Slop Day. Yes. Anything interesting happening today, Chathany? Has anything happened on my planet? Has anything occurred? Anything specific? Anything awful going on that we have immediate need to discuss? Dear God in heaven. Oh, right. Chathany. Arissa gave me $15 yesterday. So that thing is a little bit higher now. So I have to go fetch a bean. I must stand up and collect the bean box. Excuse me a moment. The bean box. The box of disgust. It is here. Exactly where I left it. Dragon Ball FighterZ dropped a new patch and now the game is beyond broken, I believe. That sounds like Dragon Ball FighterZ, yes. I stopped watching that video when I saw Sonic Fox. Huh. Alright, spin the wheel. Juicy pear or booger. Also, chat, you're gonna be losing focus on me a lot during the stream because... Come on, bitch. Because, somehow, the light fixture in my room stopped working. Completely. I changed the light bulb. It's not the light bulb. It's just the fixture. No longer functioning. Alright, let's see what it is. That's bad. That's a bad one. That's bad. That's, no. Nah. Oh, that's a bad one. Oh, no. Lick my own sleeve. Just get it off, my God. Oh God, it's still there. I need to wash this out. It's a whole thing, I'm afraid. It's just gonna keep happening. I know not why, only that it is. Thank you for this glorious gift, cousin. I always knew you loved me. Chat, have any of you tried that Grok Imagine thing for videos yet? Because that thing's, like, insane. Like, it's absurd. Like, Jesus Christ, this is too much power. This is too much power for me to have. This is too much. Hello, Kari. Did a few with Sora and it was okay? It's too powerful, I'm sorry. This is too... We've gone too far. Science has gone too far. Oh, God. I don't even know how to because I'm on Android. I just used desktop when I tried it. Gah. The baby need eep. Send. Gah. Let me send a few of the nonsense things to Arissa. Because she must be beholden to, like, the nonsense that I, like, discovered. Because, fuck. Doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle-doo. I love Pete's Tower soundtrack so much. It is unreal how good that game was, and that it took me so long to do it. I know not why it took so long for me to do it, only that it did. And you should shame me more publicly every time it gets brought up. Yes. Now that's power. Huh. Give it prompt Chihuahua analog horror. Dude, you can just sign in with Twitter to use it. Just sign in with your Twitter. It'll be fine. Caffeine withdrawals suck. I thankfully do not drink anything with caffeine in it. Dono didn't send an alert. Did you do it? Oh, you did, you crafty bitch. What was 25? Was that the thing? Now let's do a shot. Thankfully, the fridge is here. Okay, I guess. Let me just... There we go. How much is a shot? I don't actually have a shot glass. Chat, how much is a shot if I just go straight from the source? Is that like a mouthful? Is a shot a mouthful? It's a swig. Okay. Arms up, I guess. Okay, that's strong. Jesus. Ugh. You know, even with the light directly in front of me, it's still having trouble. Ah! Thank you for your patronage. We finally hit the big goal. What was the thing for it? That was, the last one was like you get to pick the next 3 animated emotes, right? I'll probably poll that in the Discord after this stream. Because I have some, like, suggestions. And hopefully that'll go over well for everybody. Splendiferous it is. Ugh. Wowzers. Need one of those. Aha. 123 videos totaling over 11 hours. And to think half of that is YouTube poop for some fucking reason that you people refuse to stop posting. Ugh. Jesus God. Scroll down. YouTube poop as far as the eye can goddamn see. It never ends. It never stops. It just keeps going. Don't diss the YouTube poop. All things in moderation. It's a whole scene, man. It's a real big scene, it is. Is it time for Slop? Is there nothing else we need to talk about? Is there nothing else we need to talk about at all? Anything at all? There's nothing? There's nothing? There's actually nothing to discuss. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening? There is nothing happening on the entire planet. Good. Alright, let's... Blade doing the job. I haven't even watched the episode. Huh. Bit about what the AI said about Sen. Did you ask an AI about Sen what happened? What did it say? What did it say? Did it call him a midget? Huh. It called him a girl. Real. Huh. Anyway. First, from Swish Films Inc., YouTube poop, Zelda, Link's first date.
Gee, my cock is important with fire. I see, isn't it beautiful? I just wonder what's up with my stuff.
My boy, this dit's what all true warriors rub in the morning.
Great.
After you rub your wee, then we can scrub the floor.
How about
This is going by really fast, you know that?
I'm going to pay to Conklin. If you don't hear from me in a month, save me.
Great, I can't wait to grab my tongue. Well done, Link.
Link, stop
Please.
being yourself and have me.
Audio's a bit
I'm
low.
match for the king.
Link, we're going to get.
I think that's just the video, because everything's at max.
Guess I better get going. Squadala, we are off. Squadala, we are here. Hey, Zelda, wake up.
What? Link?
Play it at half speed? I don't think I want to do that.
What? Nothing, Link.
That's my man, Link. You get in there.
I just make you come.
You did not.
You lose.
As it is written, you must come.
All right, dear.
Squadala.
Oh my.
Man, drugs must be awesome.
Have mercy.
Mercy, rub my dip onto a face.
Please, you're omnipotent.
You know, Chathany, I've talked about it before, like, black tar heroin must kick ass in Dark Souls. That must be amazing.
You pieces of shit. I'm going to kill Link.
Link, there is no time.
Like, you just walk into a room and, like, Chosen Undead just snorting a line off of, like, Guinevere.
I'm going to fuck up the king.
Don't fight him, feed
It's gotta be fantastic. There's no drawbacks at that point.
Yeah.
I'm going to shit onto Link.
Ted.
Check video speed. I swear to God, I did not change anything at all. Playback speed normal.
See.
Completely normal.
Oh boy.
This is not, no, we need to stop. Science has gone too far.
Beautiful. I won.
You know, every once in a while, I think I should stream that, like, fan patch for CDI Zelda. And then I remember that that game's terrible. Based on more than just, it plays like shit. Next! Leslie Nielsen plays Squid Game, Adventures of Sly. This is 3 minutes.
After a
I think
long
this is the
and
longest one
generous
of these.
cavity search, I finally reached my destination. I love it!
Now that one's too loud. There we go. Chad, I have not watched this show. Should I watch this show? Is that a thing I should do?
Go ahead.
Should I dedicate precious brain space to this thing? No? Chad, I still remember how to text on a flip phone with
I
the
couldn't
pad.
believe it was her. It was like a dream.
I still remember.
That delicately
Where you
beautiful
press
face
the number button a number of
and a
times
body
for the
that could
specific
not
letter you
achieve
want.
sandwich from across the room.
That's still hard-coded in there.
Well, that's great.
You call this slop? Real slop has got chunks of things in it. This is more like gruel.
There's only like 15 guards in this place. Like, they got automatics, but why didn't, like, everyone involved in this competition, when they find out, they just start beating the shit out of them? They literally can't shoot you all.
You're chirping awfully loud for New Canary.
Now personally balance and rotate your jaw. Like a midget at a urinal. I was
There are
gonna
more
have to
guards?
stay on my toes.
That's...
Oh, sure. Maybe not as much as jumping on a bicycle with a seat missing, but it hurts.
The remaining games will be held as scheduled. I'm sure you won't be disappointed.
Let the game begin.
Like a blind man at an orgy, I was going to have to feel things out.
We're all going to.
I like it when Leslie Nielsen punches people. Makes me feel good about life.
Had a nightmare. It was crime all around me. I couldn't stop it.
This? What? This is a gun.
Huh.
But it's not going to work this time. You're part of a dying breed, Habsburg.
I like violence. Violence feels pretty alright.
Oh, listen, there's one other thing I wanted to ask you about. See, I knew there was something about these shoelaces that was bothering me. I just couldn't put my finger on it. It could only be you. By your own admission.
Should put Columbo in more
It had
things.
to be you.
Chat, Columbo is one of those things where I feel like there's like a series of comic books that I've just never been aware of. Is there a Columbo comic book for your franchise? Is that a thing? I feel like that's the kind of thing that should have that. Be real with me. Columbo is Kino. So true. That's my boy. Chat, you ever seen Murder by Death? Because he's in that. He's not Columbo, but he's basically Columbo. He plays a detective named Sam Diamond in like the 40s or 50s or something. Has some absolutely fantastic line reads. Where like he's with his girl, right? His like secretary, and their car breaks down on the way to where they're going. Like the big spooky mansion with murder stuff. He makes her walk back to the gas station like 2 miles to go get gas. And then when she gets back, it turns out the car needs oil. And she says something like, why couldn't you just trust me to get oil too? And he's like, trust you? The last time I trusted a dame was in Paris in 1940. She said she was going out to get a bottle of wine. 2 hours later, the Germans marched into France. I'm sorry, Sam. Sorry, nothing. Give me my change. The man was a treasure. He deserved better. Well, time to me to stop ranting. On to the next thing. From Best of Gameplays, The Boys, watch Gaither's Pond. Oni plays.
Has there ever been a famous flea?
No. Well, I mean, the guy from fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I don't think that
I think
counts.
he's talking about the little insect.
I'm talking about the little bugoid.
The little bug, yeah, the little bugling.
I mean, there's flea markets.
Yeah, no,
about
pretty sure
it.
not.
All right, let's come up with a new character. What's his name?
Fucko the Flea.
No, can't use that. Not
No,
brandable.
also inappropriate. You can't put that on truckrobot.com/onlyplays.
About Finbar the flea.
Finbar the funny flea.
The fantastically funny flea.
Okay.
Finbar the fantastically funny flea.
What does he do?
He
causes lesions on dogs.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, there's like a Sylvester.
He cuts open dogs and he tells
Tweety
us
bird.
he does stand up into the wound of the dog. He goes, "Hello down there."
No, wait, actually.
Hello there, I'm Finbar the fantastically funny flea.
And he looks like the flea from A Bug's Life, except ours is better.
Except ours is like worse graphics. It's really bad. It looks like Gaither's Pond.
As it should be.
What is Gaither's Pond?
Oh, I love. Wow, Lyle, you've really
Lyle, we
not
need to
seen.
watch
You're really
Gaither's
going
Pond.
into this, huh?
This isn't real.
It is.
No, not only is it real, it'll be
Thief.
later,
Hello.
Are you editing this?
Maybe.
If you're editing this, bring up Gaither's Pond and then with text, post your
Thief.
reaction to it.
Rate the wonders of technology being too
Well,
powerful for
webcam,
me to
you-
work
you,
with.
You have to film yourself reacting to it.
And then walk into the bathroom and start pissing into the toilet.
and then leave the camera and keep going, and then you like go make a sandwich and
Back
wash your
from
hands.
warming. He is.
Scratch your ass, and you watch like it
Smells finger.
smells
Wow.
my fingers. Watch something on Netflix for a
That's
little bit.
like actually not a bad smell.
Fuck, I wonder what that tastes like.
7.5.
That's more
I understood that reference.
We're on a bad roll tonight.
Yeah, Lyle sticks his fingers up his ass and he sucks it. That's great. Highbrow, really great stuff here. People like work long. Fuck, people are stressed. They have no money. They're working long hours.
You know, I never did play
Eating
this game.
cereal, listening
By
to
eating
this.
cereal, yeah.
I always just assumed it was like tie-in crap.
Yeah, I stopped watching around that episode where they're talking about Lyle digging his ass.
It already wasn't very funny, and then they started talking about just eating like shit off his fingers. I don't know.
The whole thing had to do with Gaither's Pond.
NBA drafts.
Oh God, you're doing it.
That's great. Gloria
Plunged into the RV
Claudio
mines and
gets
came back
$1 million
empty-handed.
book advance.
It's a whole thing every time.
That.
Is this the first
Vesco
episode?
Guzman
Yeah.
Runs for pawn president. This is gonna be my best newsletter ever.
What the fuck is this?
What you doing?
This is like what I was saying when I said like a bug. I meant like that.
Oh, like this guy?
Getting you into trouble. You sure it's worth it? Of course.
Wasn't there a
Did
Christmas movie starring Mark
160-year-old,
Hamill that looked like
find
this?
out how to animate in 3D and make this whole thing himself?
This was done by like a big church. It cost millions of dollars, and they made like a bunch of episodes.
A bunch of them? How
Why
many
does that
episodes?
fly look like
Oh God.
the guy
That's
from
horrifying.
Yick?
Well, I don't think they're here to give you a
Dude, I love
Scientologist Christmas movie. Scientologists care about Christmas?
No, it's about to happen.
Huh.
This is like the cold open.
I like how shit just like fucking expands.
Here we go.
Woo!
This is too much.
Did you see that? Ladybug?
So does this is the idea that this is supposed to make you religious? How many people do you think this actually converted?
More than you'd think, less than you'd hope.
Like
We're
10
not-
Oh my God! Did you see that?
Like the turtle, come back.
It was like
Pause on the turtle. But it's right. It's right.
Wait for it.
Right there.
fucking
Christ!
scary.
That's a guy's face is grafted on.
That's
that.
awful.
All of these things are real people's faces.
Look,
They're
that
based on
takes-
They
real
care about
people.
co-opting Christmas.
Oh my God.
It does sound more close
I hate
to
it when he
the
does
truth.
that
Yeah.
shit. Ew! Look, it's that thing. Oh my God!
Chat, you remember that sunflower
Oh my God.
in
dude,
Conquer?
Why would they animate that?
And then like the bee just starts banging her?
Stroked out. Why
While
does he have
Conquer
like
watches
a turtle texture? Why?
With disgust on his
What is that thing
face.
supposed to be?
He's got a laptop.
Is that supposed to be a flower?
Yeah, it's a flower.
They just decided to put like a
Oh,
turtle
go
on
back.
it.
Did you see that butterfly? It,
What
went,
about
it like flew at the camera and flew away.
Really? Okay.
What the hell, dude?
Dude, I hope there's a reason for this. I think someone might have just been like, oh, that's fine.
That looks like a flower.
Yeah.
They should have made petals.
Yeah.
They probably thought that was too much work. They probably did the shape and then realized to make petals they'd
Yeah.
have to like. I
It
don't know.
looks like a tortilla or something. Yes!
Oh!
It's awful every time I look at it.
That's the only close we've ever seen of him.
Oh my God.
That's just terrible. Jesus Christ.
That's awesome.
He's going.
Oh!
That's such a pain. This like, can you go to the gear down there and click like
Speed.
like 0.25 speed?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You know.
Be rougher modeling than 3D era GTA games. Oh yeah! Country Mile. In fact. I hear Doja Cat cosplayed as the flower chick. You know, Chathany, it's like every other day I hear about some, like, uber famous celebrity musician that is, like, topping charts across the planet that I have just never heard of in my fucking life. And it's like, yeah, we're bigger than Elvis ever was, baby. Bigger than the Beatles. It's like, this all screams industry plant every time I hear about it. Skippy62 Abel. Can a human trick their mind into eating 10 cacti? Warning. Dumb. LA Beast.
Have a good day.
I don't think I'm gonna, man. Eats a rotten horse asshole. Rotten specifically. Why doesn't he just shave the cacti before doing these?
Today, all that I plan on doing is tricking what's left of my mind into effortlessly eating.
Did we see this
all
one already?
these
I don't think so.
In record time.
You don't know about Tofu Tom, the Jelly Boys, and Doja Cat?
Down 4 of these dried
I'm gonna say
ghost
no.
peppers, which have a Scoville heat ranking of over 1 million, which is roughly 6 to 8 times hotter than a habanero pepper. Now, when eating super
The hottest
hot
I've ever
peppers
gone
and
is like
spicy food,
putting a ghost
if
pepper
the
in a burrito I
capsaicin in the
ate.
pepper is strong
I
enough,
managed to eat one of them. I could not finish the
which are
second.
your body's natural painkillers.
I did
kick
not
in,
cry. I
and
did
you
not
start to get
scream.
all
I did
buzzed
need to go
inside,
chug some milk and
even
walk
sometimes
around a
you
bit.
feel like you're starting to hallucinate. And hopefully, after eating those 4 ghost peppers, it'll start to feel like I have zero fucking clue of what's going on around me. Now, the next step is quite simple, and that is to submerge my entire body into this 96-gallon bin of freezing cold, ice-cold water. So while my brain is releasing endorphins to protect against the ghost pepper's capsaicin, it'll also be sending signals throughout my body to start shivering to protect against the onset of hypothermia. I will wait 5 minutes to let my brain and body enter into survival mode, and then from there I will demonstrate how to eat all 10 of these cactus without even feeling it.
It's a wonder you're still alive,
And
man.
hopefully,
I'll be
it's going
real
to feel
honest.
like I'm shitting fire and ice for the next 10 minutes instead of eating these cacti. So here we go. Oh, here we
Crystal
go.
Pepsi mentioned.
Okay, these are dried.
Chat, they brought back Crystal Pepsi at one point, right? That happened, didn't it?
Just go down. Okay. I already feel the heat. Oh god, what am I doing? Okay.
There's no moisture in those goddamn things. The heat ate all of it.
Okay.
In every PSA video in the 2010s. One of those kind of things that just blends into the back of your mind, doesn't it?
I almost just lost it immediately. I'm drooling. Okay, I just want to get in the water. I don't want to get in the
Pepsi
water.
Blue supposedly never dying. I don't think I've ever had a Pepsi Blue.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
What am I doing? Okay.
Listening to an entire L44TB1TC4 album.
Which is roughly 30 degrees.
You speaking tongues at me, boy? Huh.
Oh my god.
Ogre from Tekken reincarnated as a hot chick in Tekken 8.
Okay, it is 7:09
Based.
p.m. I have to wait 5 minutes. I'm drooling. I feel that buzzy feeling already.
Why are you recording this in your room instead of like your back of your house or something
Starting to feel the ice cold.
where water damage wouldn't happen?
Oh god. Okay. My stomach, it's only been about 4 minutes, and I can feel the heat. in
This
my
is the
stomach.
garage? Is the
Even
floor
though the rest of
concrete
my
at
body
least?
is freezing cold. I can feel the heat in my stomach. I just want to do this. Okay. I'm the Daily Beast. Have a good day.
Dude, why don't they just shave the goddamn shave the cactus before going into it? Why wouldn't you just shave the
Tastes
cactus?
like leaves. This is hard. But you know what? I can feel my stomach boiling and I can't feel my nipples any longer.
Yeah, that'll
Or
happen.
My mouth. Or my feet and my toes. Ipso facto, eating a cactus right now isn't that bad. Okay.
He's a masochist Ori.
I did spend.
Is that why he's jacked? Is it one of those compensation things where it's like he gets off on being a giant muscle man that just likes getting the shit kicked out of him?
My head is on fire.
Is it one of those things?
I'm committed. I'm committed.
Now it's exactly as bad as a singular Codeine Choir song.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm seeing stars.
Aren't you supposed to fry cacti?
Okay.
You're supposed to fry cacti, right? That's a thing, yeah? You're expecting him to do something smart. You really shouldn't expect anyone that's from Los Angeles to do anything smart. Sorry, Ari.
I almost just lost it. I'm seeing stars. Okay, have a good day.
He spends so much time preparing for a fight only for iDubbbz to cancel the whole thing and call him ungrateful.
If like in the old cartoons when you got hit in the head with something.
Can someone just throw iDubbbz into a fucking river and be done with it?
Okay.
He's from Jersey, moved to LA for a few years and moved back to Jersey. Is the idea that he's a beast in LA, not from LA? Is that what the name meant? Have I been fooled this whole time?
This is ridiculous. This one is ridiculous.
Hey, thief, what's legal in New Jersey?
I really am
Thief!
lightheaded and dizzy
Thief!
and buzzy.
Thief!
But it does feel like
Thief!
my stomach is on fire.
Thief!
But it also feels like
Thief!
I can't feel the rest of my body
Thief!
because it's so cold.
I have no idea and I don't live there. You shame me. You bring shame to this household. Funny. Yes!
I got it. I got it. I got it.
Huh. You shave them, blanch them, then cook them however you want.
I got it.
Boxing the Jersey Devil to make up for not boxing Epic Mealtime Guy.
Come on, dude. Bye, dude.
Huh.
That's why if I shit myself, it's okay. Because I'm in a 96-gallon tub that I'm going to return to Home Depot tomorrow. Oh, okay. Oh, this doesn't look good.
Why is you not spilling more dirt doing this with the soil that's in those pots? Deep frying the Jersey Devil and serving it as a meal. Wouldn't that just be like eating a horse?
This is not a good video. And whatever you do, kids, do not ever attempt to eat 10 cacti by submerging yourself into water after eating 4 ghost peppers.
Depends on what part of the horse. Jersey Devil jobbing to pregnant woman. Never forget. Never forget his legacy. I can never remember which name is which. I think Dewey was the green one. Think? Which cryptid would make the best meal and the best leg? I'm going to assume the jackalope would taste the best.
Is it possible to trick your
I'm
brain
unaware
and
of any cryptid that looks particularly attractive, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Have a good day.
Down all the Crystal Pepsi isn't helping my imminent need to piss.
That ain't bad. I still
It's gonna
get
keep
burns
happening.
with peppers all over my mouth.
You know, Thief, at least your bathroom floor isn't caved in and covered with plywood.
Are freezing. So, yeah, how that. This was stupid.
Yeah, a little bit. When did that happen? Did you not pay attention to everything I said about yesterday's stuff? Yeah, ripped out the bathroom floor. There's a leak under the tub that cannot be fixed until, like, December. And it's been like that for, like, a year, apparently. I was like, don't spend upwards of 30 minutes in the shower anymore, I guess. Fuck you. Ugh. Moving on. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Fat Larry from Ultra Wide. I love this bit.
Player, what's the score? How they hang? Good evening and all that commotion. Welcome to Fat Larry's Trucker Mac, the only store for all your needs after 10 o'clock. I am the proprietor and salesman of the month several years in a row. The ladies call me, oh God, but you can call me Fat Larry with a F-A-T, because I know I got a weight problem, I just don't give a fuck.
Does the fan patch fix all the crashing issues with this game? I'd love to stream this at some point. It's been a long time.
I'm the real deal OG man in the alley with what you need. Counterfeit. Man, why you gotta be like that? Nah, that's what I like to hear. But it's like this.
Is Fat Larry twerk poor? Have you seen what she posted about Keith Lee? Of course not.
I don't appreciate your business. It's just, you know, business.
The GOVG version comes with repatch? Huh. Fascinating. What they did with the new game? You mean to tell me people that make games from highly anticipated legacy things from years prior don't know what the fuck they're doing, or the audience that actually wants that? Huh. From the Dragon, Career Chronicles, Volume 5, Top 25 Moves of Eddie Guerrero. I can't wait for Triple H to copyright this stream again. It's gonna happen. It was his birthday only like a couple days ago. God rest his skeleton. Hardly anyone does an STF anymore. Basically just Cena nowadays. Even then, Cena's been like... When was Cena's first official match that was televised? When was that, 2003? And Joe? Joe does do it, you're right. 2002, thank you. Savages, barely even human. The balls on Disney. Back then, by the way. To portray the tribe as, like, as bloodthirsty as the settlers that thought they were just animals. The balls. To try to be even-handed with that shit. God, he was so great. Yeah.
Están quitándole también la máscara. El suplex impresionante, corner suplex.
He probably should have kept the mohawk. This one's for you, Scott. Chat, I have like this core memory of someone at some point doing a tornado DDT while running on like a cage wall.
And we've seen this
like they ran from one side of the cage over the corner to the other and then landed the DDT, and I have no idea what the fuck I'm remembering. Not fitting to the canon since Pocahontas wasn't a lolly. Also, I believe John Smith was significantly older in real life when that happened.
Wow. Both men on the top rope. This is a long ride to take. Guerrero signals to the crowd. Superplex, and it's a beauty.
Damn right it is. Buena basta! When do you think Eddie would have actually retired? Just, if he just never had the heart attack? Do you think it would have held on through the PG era? Or do you think he would have just like, yeah, I'm out? Age 50? Huh.
But Eddie saw it coming. Jose telegraphed it.
Mucho.
Looks like he's setting him up for that gory special. He's right down in the Splash Mountain.
When you add the rolling to anything, it's in for a good time.
A mattress, it hurts.
Oh yeah, this ain't a trampoline, this ain't ballet. This is Ring of Honor. And you know what? That ring hurts. And especially when you get dropped on your head, just like Eddie Guerrero just did the Super Crazy, and he's going for it again.
He's holding.
Do it, you son of a bitch!
The reputation of Super Crazy means nothing right
How was he
now to
so
Eddie
fucking good?
Guerrero.
We didn't deserve him. Now that's quiet as hell.
A variation of a Boston Crab going on here. I'm sorry, folks.
Powerful.
I'm getting caught up in this match, and I'm really.
He's doing it. We love the frog splash. Man, he was so good. Can do something with them on the angel. Significant power. Huh. What a fucking guy. None of us deserved him. Fat Electrician. The most gangster politician ever. Cassius Marcellus Clay. Baby.
It's a riveting story.
This is what it sounds like whenever I hear Thief's voice.
We gotta go. I gotta tell the internet about the guy I named you after, okay? You gotta go hang out with Mom now. Today we're talking about the most gangster politician in American history. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassius Marcellus Clay, aka the Lion of Whitehall. Whitehall being his family home that he grew up in
No one gets cool nicknames anymore. You notice that?
In all of America. While going to
Just
college,
no
he became a
one
lawyer.
gets
He would attend a
badass
speech from a
nicknames.
famous abolitionist by the name of William Lloyd Garrison. And that speech would change the entire trajectory of Cassius Clay's life as well as American history. It is at that moment that Cassius Clay decided he was not only going to be quietly opposed to slavery, but that he was actively going to fight against it. He would be set down the path to become the most influential abolitionist of all time. Oh god, forgot to do the ad. Hold on. Sorry for bothering the video. Real quick, this video is brought to you by the biggest sponsor of the channel and my favorite sporting goods store, Shields. They've got over 30 retail locations across the United States.
Do people name their
Even
kids
better
Cassius
online
anymore?
store that I'm going to have linked down below, and if you
I
use my
doubt
code,
it.
you're going to get free
I haven't
shipping.
ever walked
They've got
down the
everything
street and met
in there.
anyone
This is
named
where I got this
Cassius.
shirt. It's where I got this backpack. All of it was on sale. It was a
Chad,
great
I've
deal.
yet to
Again,
meet a
this is
single
my code
human
down
being
below.
with
You're
my
gonna get
name,
free
by the
shipping.
way.
Back to the video.
Like,
Oh,
I
wait,
know
hold on.
they're out there.
I forgot to mention Muhammad
I know
Ali's
they
original
are.
name was Cassius Clay. Yeah, he was actually named
It just
after this
never
guy.
comes
Anyways,
up.
Back to the video. Bye-bye. If you don't know, at this point in time, there's basically two different camps you could fall into for being anti-slavery. You could be an abolitionist or an emancipationist. An emancipationist is somebody that wants to vote it out over time, over the next 5, 10, 20 years, versus an abolitionist, which is somebody that believes we need to end slavery right now, and they're willing to fight about it. And in the case
Real
of
name
Cassius
is
Clay,
quite
he was
common.
willing to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Uh-huh.
You see, Cassius Clay wasn't just some nobody punk kid that went off to college and decided that he didn't like slavery. This was the son of one of the wealthiest slave owners in all of America. So for him to come out and voice anti-slavery views was a huge deal, and it pissed off a lot of people. So, being that this was the 1820s, what do you do when you're pissed off? You challenge somebody to a duel. So needless to say, the young Cassius Clay found himself partaking in an awful lot of duels, and he never, ever lost. So, obviously, he's pretty good at it, and what do you do when you find something you're pretty good at? You want to keep doing it, right? Right. So Cassius Clay starts challenging anyone and everyone to a duel that dares to oppose him. It became common knowledge in his community that Cassius Clay would be willing to fight the wind if it blew from the west and he wanted it to blow from the east. This man went on a dueling rampage, so much so that by the time he graduated college, he was
Goddamn
considered to be the
autocorrect.
deadliest duelist in all of North America.
Goddamn
This guy was putting
right.
slave owners in the dirt like he was Johnny Appleseed planting fucking fucking trees. He became known as the deadliest abolitionist of all time. So he graduates from college, goes back home as a lawyer. Shortly after that,
No,
his father
Clark.
passes away and leaves everything to Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay immediately frees all of his father's
Chat, we need to
slaves,
bring back
costing
dueling.
himself $40,000, which is
We need to
roughly $2
legalize
billion
dueling
today.
again.
And
I feel
then
like that'd
he
solve a
even
lot of
gives some the
issues.
slaves land and money on top of it. Absolutely infuriating the pro-slavery people in Kentucky. So, what do you do when half the local population hates your guts? You run for public office, and that's exactly what Cassius Clay did. He served in the Kentucky state legislature
Especially in the UK.
1835
Yes.
to 1841, and then finally lost his re-election, to which the pro-slavery crowd breathed a huge sigh of relief because they finally defeated Cassius Clay, or so they thought. Clay immediately starts traveling the country, giving amazing anti-slavery speeches, winning over hearts and minds, and this absolutely infuriates the pro-slavery people because they don't know how to stop him. You can't legally stop a guy from talking to people that want to listen to him, and they can't legally kill Cassius Clay in a duel because he's the best duelist on earth. What do? You've got to illegally kill him. The problem with that is they can't find a hitman that's dumb enough to think that they can take out Cassius Clay, so they have to go to the one crevice of the planet where they can find somebody truly insane enough to think that they can do this job. And that man's name was Sam Brown, an assassin from New Orleans. 1834, Russell Cave, Kentucky. Cassius Clay's finishing up one of his world-famous speeches as he pulls out a burlap sack, reaches into the sack and pulls out a holy Bible and says, "For those of you that believe in the laws of God, I make to you this argument against slavery," sets the Bible on the table, reaches back in the sack, pulls out a copy of the U.S. Constitution, and says, "For those of you that believe in the laws of man, I present to you this argument against slavery," sets the Constitution down on the table, drops a burlap sack to the ground and says, "For those of you that believe in neither the laws of God or man, I make to you this argument against slavery," as he pulls out both of his pistols and sets them on the table, which I think we can all agree is gangster as fuck. And at this moment, Sam Brown comes up on stage and shoots Cassius Clay point blank in the chest. Luckily, Cassius Clay never leaves home without his trusted Bowie knife, which resides inside of a metal sheath, and that metal sheath would catch Sam Brown's bullet, saving Cassius Clay's life. At which point, Cassius Clay would draw his Bowie
Every
knife
now and then
charge
something
Sam
like that
Brown.
happens and it's
6 of Sam
miraculous
Brown's
every
friends in
time.
the audience tried to stop Cassius Clay. He would fight his way through all 6 of them, making his way to Sam Brown, promptly stabbing him in the chest, and then turning him into a Mr. Potato Head by cutting off his nose, lopping off his ear, and gouging out one of his eyes. Then the 6 men recovered and tried to peel Clay
fucking
off of it.
based.
Not knowing what to do, knowing they couldn't stop Cassius Clay forever, they panicked, probably for fear that Cassius Clay was going to start shoving this guy's facial features
Well,
up
yeah.
his ass next. They did the only thing they could come up with to get the two apart. They picked up their friend Sam Brown, threw him over a 7-foot-high stone wall. He fell down an embankment and into a creek bed to finally get Cassius Clay away from him. Somehow, Sam Brown survived, but not only was he lucky for that, he was also dumb as fuck because he then decided to take Cassius Clay to court because apparently after Cassius Clay stabbed him the first time, they were even on the whole assassination attempt thing. So
That's
Cassius
not how
Clay
that
should go to
works.
prison for mayhem. So Cassius Clay calls upon his older cousin, one of the best lawyers on the planet that had never lost in open court with over 40 years of experience, Henry Clay. Henry Clay goes into court and his entire defense for his cousin is, and I quote, "Your Honor, this is just standard behavior for a Kentuckian." And the judge is just like, "You're innocent. Free to go. That's it. Best court case ever." Literally walks in and just goes,
I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry.
I've seen this clip a lot this
So
week
after
for whatever
Cassius
reason.
Clay was found innocent, Henry Clay decides that he's going to run for president, and Cassius is going to help him campaign. Cassius is going to tour the country, giving speeches, saying, "Hey, you know, vote for my cousin." Here's the rule with that. Henry Clay told him he's only allowed to tour the northern states because he's actually legitimately concerned that if he sends Cassius to the south, he's going to shoot so many fucking slave owners in duels that it could be considered voter fraud. So Henry Clay ends up losing the presidential election, and Cassius moves on to his next life adventure, which is becoming an author and writing anti-slavery news articles. The problem with that was none of the newspapers were willing to publish him, so he says, "Fuck you, I'll start my own newspaper, The True American."
As you do.
Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, starting an anti-slavery newspaper in fucking Kentucky in 1845 was not very popular, and his business would receive death threats pretty much every day, some of which were written in blood. So Cassius Clay, in true Cassius Clay fashion, says, "Fuck it, I guess
Giving
we'll
a crash
fight about
course
it."
in
He then
American
proceeds
history.
to up-armor his entire business and his printing office. He covers
Why
the
aren't you?
entire front of the office in a large iron sheet. He installs several cannons down corridors, stocks the entire thing with loaded guns, and rigs it to explode. Here's the thing, he also doesn't expect his employees to fight to the death for him, so he installs an escape hatch and instructs them to escape if anything goes down, because he's going to fight the entire mob by himself.
I do regularly.
How's he going to do that? As soon as you
Good.
walk in the only door to get into that printing office, you find yourself in a long, narrow corridor with iron on each side, just wide enough for a single man to get through. Cassius Clay is going to stand in that narrow corridor and fight the entire mob one man at a time. Literally the mentality of, if you have a problem, take a number, I'll kill you in a minute. This man recreated the entire battle of fucking Thermopylae with 300 Spartans, except he's going to do it all by himself. If you think fucking with John Wick's dog is a bad idea, the last thing you want to do is fuck with Cassius Clay's printing press, because this man is determined to defend the freedom of speech with the right to bear arms at any cost. Obviously, this escalates to Cassius Clay defeating an entire mob single-handedly, right? Wrong. The mob, being full of, you know, super brave pro-slavery men that know they're doing the right thing, do the honorable brave thing and wait till Cassius Clay is bedridden with typhoid fever, so they know he isn't going to show up. They
Ample
show up to his
opportunity.
business at night and burn the place to the ground because they're a bunch of fucking bitches. Now, Cassius Clay recovers from typhoid fever. He reestablishes a newspaper in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is an anti-slavery stronghold. The only problem with that is, being an anti-slavery stronghold, there's not going to be any conflict, and that's fucking boring, so Cassius Clay moves on to another life adventure, volunteering in the Mexican-American War. While serving in the Mexican-American War, he would be a captain leading a group of Kentucky soldiers, and they would be captured pretty much immediately, and he would spend the duration of the entire war as a POW. While serving as a POW, some of the men under his command would escape, meaning that the Mexican military was then going to put the rest of his unit to death. Cassius Clay said, hey, don't kill my men, just kill me and my other fellow officers. We're the ones in charge. It's our fault that those men escaped. It's our responsibility. Please let the lower enlisted men go home. The Mexican military was so impressed by this that they decided to spare everyone, including Cassius Clay, and he
barely
would return
happens
home a war
ever.
hero. Returning home from the war in 1848, he didn't really know what to do, so he starts giving his famous speeches again, this time leveraging his newfound title as a war hero. So obviously it doesn't take long for him to piss everybody off. He faces yet another assassination attempt. This time, 6 brothers from a wealthy slave-owning family show up, the Turner brothers. They show up with clubs and knives and guns, and they beat the living shit out of Cassius Clay with the clubs. They stabbed him multiple times. Cassius Clay whips out his trusted Bowie knife, starts opening up these brothers like they're fucking Amazon packages, making his way to the lead brother and stabbing him an excessive amount of times. We don't know how many times, but we do know it was a lifetime supply. Killing the lead brother, ending the assassination attempt, Cassius Clay would fall to the ground, nearly dead, and this would be the closest anybody ever came to actually killing Cassius Clay. When he was asked about it later on in life, all he said was, I felt the utmost indignation, which translates to, I was fucking
Fuck them
annoyed.
bitches.
This man almost died from an assassination attempt, and he has the same attitude towards it that I have towards fucking fruit flies, okay? This dude is so metal, he deserves his own spot on the periodic table of elements. Cassius Clay then makes a full recovery from his injuries, starts giving his speeches again. 1853, he donates a large chunk of his land to John Fee, who uses it to found Berea College, the first co-educational and multiracial college in the South ever. Fast forward to 1860, Cassius Clay is giving speeches in Illinois where he meets a politician by the name of Abraham Lincoln.
It's him!
And they get along great. Cassius Clay is then slotted to become Abraham Lincoln's vice president. However, he's a little bit too Cassius Clay to be an actual big-name politician like that, so they give the job to Hannibal Hamlin, and Cassius Clay becomes the ambassador to Russia. 1861 rolls around, the Civil War breaks out. Cassius Clay is in Russia. Cassius Clay not only convinces Russia to not side with the Confederates, but he convinces Russia to tell Great Britain and France that if they so much as recognize the Confederacy, Russia will go to war with them. And this was a humongous step that nobody talks about in the winning of the Civil War. And it is 100% because of Cassius Clay. Fast forward to 1862, Abraham Lincoln wants to appoint Clay a major general in the Union Army. Cassius Clay publicly refuses the President of the United States, saying that he's not going to do it until the President signs the Emancipation Proclamation freeing the slaves of the South. Cassius Clay is literally the man that bullied Abraham Lincoln into prematurely signing the Emancipation Proclamation before he wanted to. And nobody talks about it. Fast forward again to 1865, the Union wins the Great American Scrimmage, the slaves are freed. Cassius Clay has achieved his lifelong goal at the age of 55, bringing an end to slavery in the United States of America. He then goes back to Russia again to serve as ambassador until 1869, and while he is there, he helps to broker the purchase of Alaska. This man is probably the most influential person in American history.
When you say he's in Russia, do you
After
mean
returning home
he's
from Russia,
in
Cassius Clay
Alaska
would live out the
now?
rest of his days in Whitehall until the age of 80 years old, where he would be declared clinically insane in hindsight, most likely due to a severe amount of PTSD, as well as potentially...
And probably the blood
dementia.
loss.
He didn't die from it. He lived on for quite a bit longer. He just picked up a new hobby of fucking with the local sheriff because he was crazy now. Over the course of the next decade, Clay and the sheriff would have multiple run-ins that would be concluded when the sheriff and 7 deputies were repelled from Whitehall when Clay utilized his home defense cannon that he had at the top of his stairwell. At that point, the local sheriff would inform the local judge he will not be returning to Whitehall to tangle with Cassius Clay anymore unless the judge was willing to dispatch an entire company of the local militia to accommodate him. Then in 1900, 2 men would break into Whitehall, and Cassius Clay at the age of 89 would manage to kill both of them, one by gunshot and one, yet again, with his trusted Bowie knife. Then in 1903, at the age of 92, Cassius Clay would die of natural causes, or as they called it back then, general exhaustion, which is the most gangster way on the planet to go out. Literally just, I'm tired now.
Rate the home defense cannon, 17.
Pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
In conclusion, when it comes to famous historical household names, there's always another man or woman lurking behind the scenes in the shadows that's deemed too rough around the edges to be in the spotlight, yet they contribute just as much, if not more, to the movement. These men and women are willing to do horrific things for terrific reasons, and when it came to Abraham Lincoln and the abolition of slavery, that man's name was Cassius Marcellus Clay, the most gangster politician in American history. Thanks for watching the video. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch.
Isn't in fate,
FatElectricity.com. Quack bang out.
Informative. Top Game World. All your Skyrim pain in one video.
Hey.
Arissa, hello.
I've been looking for you. Got something
How's
I'm
it?
supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Do you have anything
Oh god, I hate when that shit happens.
remotely fresh?
And good job, Todd.
It's all
Very good at NPCs keeping their schedule.
the game myself.
Shiny trinket.
It keeps happening. I'm convinced if it wasn't for modders fixing just random shit, that Skyrim would have died within like a year and a half. Like the console market, they'll eat up anything, especially in 2011, but Jesus Christ. Why do you have so much vegetable soup? There you go. You remember when I did this on stream and just kicked her ass, no problem? I remember. I have a Todd shrine now. What do you mean you have a Todd shrine?
Must have scared him off.
This is a great day, my friend. You have struck a blow against darkness that will not soon be forgotten. Here, as promised, a most generous reward.
That's it? Jesus.
Just a scratch. I fought for you.
Always a goddamn bandit chief, isn't it? Every time we do anything.
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to you.
Yeah, they just do this even if you're just walking by.
Ha! Another milk drinker crying about his effort.
Stop with the breathing. Enough. You know, like, 7, 8 years ago, I distinctly remember— oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking god damn it, Todd. Now you're out of bounds now. Like 7, 8 years ago, I remember someone, like, trying to make a custom player voice mod. And I never bothered to look into it. People that call Skyrim Oblivion 2. It's less offensive than people after Skyrim's release demanding Bethesda make Skyrim 2.
Like this are usually filled with them.
Swear to fuck. Come forth! Gertrude! Seemingly all first-person protags had worse asthma than me. The worst I've ever seen is Sebastian in the first Evil Within. The man can sprint for like a grand total of 1.5 seconds. It's insane.
Among other things, the Dwemer were expert trap makers. Watch the floor for tripwires and...
Yeah, thanks, asshole. I'd like to point out Skyrim came out, what, 7 years after Half-Life 2? And yet this is how the physics works in this game.
Watch it.
They always get in the goddamn way. And then it's too shallow, because fuck you. Near. Just trapped in the wall for eternity. Oh yeah, because the game is still, like, active while it's fading into gameplay. So before you can even see anything, the game is technically running, so NPCs will still attack you. Good job, Todd. Get out of the goddamn way! Ah, DeBella. We meet again. What the fuck? The geometry on the thing is loaded into the... Okay, whatever.
Don't like the looks of this.
And then he goes and sets off, and then he just ran... Yeah, there it is.
I do this for you, Red Legions, for I love you!
You dumbass.
You walked among us, great Talos, not as God, but as man!
I can't wait here forever.
Get in the carriage, have a good one. Have fun storming the castle. Summon the rocks. And then it just doesn't fucking work for some reason. Because someone didn't get the map geometry right for summoning in this one part of the level.
Need a trained war dog? Fiercest companion money can buy.
These things should be invincible. There's no reason they're not. And they just die in the first fight you get into. Dog. Poochie. Why do they bark so goddamn much? Why is there only one kind of dog in the entire province of Skyrim?
Do you get get to the Cloud District very often.
You can't even pet them.
What am I saying? Of course you don't.
This motherfucker. Yeah, there you go. That's really all you need, to be honest. Just absolutely everything a man could ever need. Again with the goddamn breathing.
Okay, got it.
And then they just don't, right? And then they're just not gonna. Yeah, he's not gonna do anything.
Anything else?
Gotta level up your smithing! Gotta grind out that XP! Jesus Christ. Yeah, you'd think like a legendary hell artifact that specifically, like, deflects magic shit would be better at deflecting magic shit.
Okay, got it.
And then he just doesn't. Refuses. Just can't do it!
Anything else?
He can't get over to it! Good hearts. And then you get hung up on the wall and you get trapped midway through. Get away from me. I don't want your letter. I don't want it. Dear Christ in heaven. Why is this the life? Race to usually main? The first time I played Oblivion and Skyrim, I went with Redguard, but I think my player race, the Skyrim playthrough we streamed was Breton, I believe? I think? So we'll probably do that if that comes up again. Next! The Creature Hub, Water Cooler Gang, CT, snapshots.
Do you have a tip for this week, James?
Oh, man.
What page is it and what tip number is it for people following
This is
along?
tip 154. It is on page 135.
Break it down for us, James. Go ahead.
There's a big difference between being friendly with your employees and being friends with them.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Friendly is fine. How are you? How was your weekend? Did you catch the Giants game last night?
Oh! Idle chit chat.
Water cooler talk.
Oh my God, he mentions both. He mentions both. Of
Every
what they said.
time.
He said idle office chat, but he says, but that's a lot different than having an employee or two over to the house for a barbecue or going out with the water cooler gang.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. For a
Water cooler
idle
chit chat, and you said water cooler, and we both were mentioned in there.
Yeah.
I want to see a gang actually called the Water Cooler Gang.
The water cooler.
Yeah, we should the Bloods and
That's
the Water
I think
Cooler.
Water Cooler Gang has some
Water
bad
Cooler Gang.
connotations
We're
to
gonna
it.
get some leather jackets.
Never parched, bitch.
Yeah,
picture a water cooler. There's
Yeah,
no
big
dry
patch
tongue in
of
my
water
mouth,
cooler.
bitch. Hello there, people in the desert. You look thirsty. Water cooler.
Our
gang
mission
here.
is to fill up all water coolers.
Keep them filled. Keep them hydrated. Water cooler gang.
No matter what you may think, and no matter how close you may feel, your employees are just that, your employees.
Oh.
Keep yourself far from crossing the, in quotes,
Ominous
friend
foreshadowing.
line.
Whoa! Friend line.
Jordan, we don't want you to come out with drinks like, with us later.
You're not in the water cooler gang.
Instead of
Ah. Nothing can ever last.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this CT snapshot of the Water Cooler Gang. If you want, you can check out the link in the description to buy a Water Cooler
Yeah, you remember
Gang
when I
shirt.
told you that story of me
Right,
going to
Water
laser
Cooler
tag as a
shirt.
kid and like punching another kid in
Go
the face in
around
front of
and
his
become
mother?
Part of the Water Cooler Gang.
That was a good story.
By wearing the shirt. Yeah.
I remember.
Also, while you're at it, in the comments section, let us know what other moments from Creature Talk you want to see made into a CT snapshot. The last couple have all been user suggested, so let us know which
What?
Creature
Oh,
Talk
you weren't here for
from and
that.
which moment you want to
Yeah,
see
when I
more
was
of.
like 7 or 8 or something, I got invited to like go play laser tag with some other kids. And we do the laser tag thing, and at one point, the kid goes around the corner with his mom and starts shooting at me, and I just punch him in the fucking face. This is war, Peacock! Barry McGunthry Jr. Why Southerners aren't in horror movies. Part 3.
My foot's stuck! Help!
You literally end 90% of your kids' stories with, and I punched or did bodily harm to the kid. Like that kid whose nose I broke in preschool.
Oh, thank goodness you're here, man. I got my foot stuck, Bo.
All right, neighbor. I'm here to cut you out again, man. But last time, this is 3 times this week. You're wearing my blade out. Look at it.
You gonna cut me out or what, man?
I'm really here, please, but...
In part 5, it's gonna be Southerners in space. Is Art the Clown going to space?
Still waiting on that please, though. So.
He's gotta be, right?
Ding dong.
Excuse me. Is you one of them Mormons?
Do you have a moment to talk about your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Man, of course I'm down to talk about my Lord and Savior, but the game's on, so we might have to do it during the game.
I'd like to come in. Need to be invited.
Yeah, you're invited to come in.
Oh, a cave in the door.
Hey, where's that accent from, Bo?
It's from the east.
Terrifier 4 being an origin story.
What am I supposed to do, turn all day?
As long as he
I have
still
a job
doesn't
to do.
talk.
Kidnap
Art in the hood.
Taxes.
Well, come on in, the game's on. We gotta go. Hey, buddy, stay calm. We're gonna pray about it.
We get it, you're religious.
Y'all, the Mormon's dissolving.
Sorry,
One of
Dracula.
y'all get the dustbuster?
Do I have a dustbuster? I might.
Go get it.
Down it goes! All the way down! Chat, why didn't anyone just kick Pennywise in the dick?
Did you lose this?
Right here. Hold up. That's easy.
Why don't you come down here and get it? I've got nachos.
Yeah.
Hey, Bo, what is you doing? Oh my goodness, excuse me, ma'am, is you all right?
I'm not a woman.
We'll get you out there, we'll clean you up. It's like the Lord would want me to do. Hey, grab my hand. No, don't try to bite my hand. I got me a shotgun, and I ain't afraid to use it.
I'm Nickelback, the sewer clown.
Is you homeless?
I'm home in Barrett, Barry.
Yep, you're homeless.
You want to come to my sewer man cave and watch the game? I've got cigarettes, Barry. And Budweiser.
Come on, Bo, get out there and come watch it up here where it doesn't stink like trash.
You smell like trash.
You smell like trash.
That sounds nice, Barry. I could bring banana pudding.
We got banana pudding. We also got some Q, sweet tea. You ever had moonshine?
I like moonshine, Mary.
People are so much nicer than sewer clowns down here in the South. In the North, I get pee-peed on a lot, Barry.
We're gonna get you out that sewer and turn your life around. Go pull a pickup truck around here. Yes, sir. We're gonna tow you out, buddy.
Well, that sounds really nice, Barry.
And if you
I remember a video of someone getting like a deer that was stuck in a sewer drain out. Just dragged him out by his like feet.
Hey,
That thing was
I
freaked
noticed
out.
This is why Southern people aren't in horror videos. And I'm from Texas. Does that doesn't count as Southern or what?
Look, man, I don't want to get into all that right now. Why do you got a tie on?
Just came from church, man. What do you wear to church?
These are my church clothes.
Oh.
Is that your wife's apron, man? You look stupid, Bo.
We're having a hot dog lunch over at the house.
Can I come?
Oh yeah, come on down to the hot dog lunch. But hey, do me a favor. Just stay out of the basement. We're doing some renovation.
Okay, man. All right.
But seriously, stay out of my basement. Always. Never go.
Jim Carrey just getting a fat whiz taken on him. What does Jim Carrey have to do with Pennywise? Thief. Thief. Thief? Wrong name. Thief. 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 Command and Conquer guy. That's not good enough. Clue guy. That's not good enough. Tim Curry. Thank you. Ah. Jesus Christ. Boy, what's wrong with you? Next. From Loy Hasjak. Why belugas? Eat ice instead of drinking water. This is only, like, this is less than a minute.
Belugas love ice. When they see a bucket of it, they open their mouths wide and let the trainer pour it straight in, then
I recognize that
swallow it whole
song.
without chewing. Orcas. And dolphins share the same love for ice. But this isn't just a quirky
I'm
habit.
running out of memory,
It's how they
Ori.
stay hydrated. You'd think they could just drink fresh water, but that's the tricky part. If you
Who's
offer
getting
them plain
senile
water,
now,
They
boy?
often mistake it for seawater and refuse to swallow it. In the ocean, belugas get enough fresh water from the live fish they eat, since fresh whole fish naturally contain water. But in aquariums, they're usually fed frozen, dead fish, which have much less moisture, so ice becomes a necessary supplement. What's even more fascinating is how intelligent belugas are. Their brain power is about the same as a 6-year-old child. They're incredibly social and often form close bonds with people. Interestingly, they love messing
You ever
with
see those
kids by trying
videos
to
of, like,
spook them.
sea life,
But when it
like,
comes to real
running
interaction,
over
they're
to
surprisingly
people
gentle,
to help them with
sometimes even
something?
offering sweet little kisses.
Like, there's a
to show
video of, like, a
affection.
shark that has a hook stuck in its mouth and it just swims up to someone. And it just keeps going to them and, like, nudging them. And then they finally notice and get the hook out. And then the thing is, like, visibly excited and happy. The ocean dog. And then you just have dolphin rape. Not all intelligence is positive. Wang! Placenta jerky! Tales from the internet. Oh yeah, this will be
I have a
good.
vague recollection of this one
Oh,
TV
yeah.
series from 1989. It was called Alienation, and it was a police procedural show based on a buddy cop film of the same name. Follows the story of two
Jesus
cops,
Christ, it's
a
gonna
human
get
and an
bad,
alien
isn't it?
In the near future of the year
Every time we
1990.
do this.
Look at those prosthetics. Like you're never gonna see a primetime TV show like this.
Chat,
again.
who's the
That being said, I
dirtbag that
never
always
actually watched
copyright
it.
claims
I mean,
the
I was a little
DuckTales moon
child.
theme?
It wasn't for me. But I did
Every
see
single
one scene
time
of
I've ever
Black,
used it, it got
and what are
claimed.
the odds? It's
How does an
probably the
NES
most
track
infamous scene from
get
that
copyright
show.
claimed
The
on
alien cop's
YouTube?
Alien wife is pregnant.
Jesus
He takes the
Christ.
baby out of her, and then he puts it in his body to finish the pregnancy, because that's how those kind of aliens work. And in the middle of the baby trade-off, they take a piece off the gestating fetus and eat it. Despite never really watching the show and only having a
SoundCloud
vague
rappers?
understanding
Not
of
too
what's
fond of
going on when I saw
SoundCloud
it,
rappers.
That scene stuck with me for the rest of my life.
Not too
And
fond
then
of
when I eventually
SoundCloud.
learned that some
Not too
women keep
fond of
placenta when
rappers.
they give birth, that was the first thing I thought of. In fact, when I hear about it, that's still the first thing I think of, which is why it's in this video. Well, if you were disturbed by that image, I got something even better for you, and this one's real. Ladies and gentlemen,
Wang,
this
I
is
have
the
no
tale
idea what the
of
fuck you were doing with your hair in
afterbirth
this one. I just don't understand it, man. I'll be honest.
Alright, before we dive in, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor today, fishtank.live. If you've been lurking around online as long as I have, you've probably occasionally stumbled across a strange website. The kind of websites that make you feel like you're somewhere you're not supposed to be. Imagine this. One night you find a strange website, and it's a house's security feed. But for some reason, there's cameras inside
I get that
the
feeling
bedroom.
anytime I
People
stumble
live in
upon
this
any
house.
form of
You get
Reddit
to watch
page.
them cook breakfast, tell secrets, argue with each
Oh,
other.
the solution to
might
my
even catch
problem is
someone
on
falling
Reddit.
down a flight of stairs. What is Fish Tank?
It's like
kinda
walking straight
Jersey
into the
Shore for
wrong
people
neighborhood
who
and
use
not
VPNs.
noticing it until
Fish
it's
Tank
too
Live
late.
is a 24/7 smart house where you, the viewer, get to monitor and interact with actual humans in real time.
Sam
A group
Hyde
of extreme
sponsoring the stream.
weirdos locked in a house for 42 days with nowhere to hide from the viewers. No script, no privacy, just real people left to their own devices. And you get to decide what happens. Guys, season 3 of Fish Tank goes live on October 27th. So if you're a little weird, maybe you want to watch people sleep. Maybe you want to spam people with mariachi music at 4 a.m. Maybe you're a little sick in the head. You're personally invited to come see season 3 live. There's a big twist this season and you cannot afford to miss it. Go to fishtank.live, and if you create an
Do
account
they even
with the
have
secret
cameras set
code
up in the
WANG,
bathroom?
you get 1,000 XP and a TTS
That's a bit much.
token. Yeah, a free TTS
That's a bit
token
excessive.
on the house. Thanks again to
Don't you
fishtank.live for sponsoring this video.
Can Thief join
Eating the
Fish Tank?
placenta is a practice that has a
Thief,
long
could you
history
go
in
like a
certain parts
month
of
and
the
a
world.
half
Although
without
there's
doing
debate among historians
anything?
over how prevalent it actually was,
I don't
there's
think you have it
incidents
in
of
you.
documented as far back as a few hundred years BC. Technically called placentophagy, which reminds me of the movie Anthropophagus, where they don't just eat the placenta, they eat the whole baby. In the US, though, it first became a trend in the 70s, with people citing health benefits like a restored hormone balance, better mood, increased milk production. Critics, of course, say there's no evidence that any of this is true. And since during pregnancy, the
modest
placenta
proposal.
acts as a big filter to keep the baby safe from disease and whatnot, some people say you're basically eating a giant disease sponge. And there's been cases where people have gotten sick from it, most notably
Texas
one where
Chainsaw
a
2
newborn got
screenshot.
strep on
It
multiple
comes up every
occasions
great once in a
and was
while.
eventually
It's
traced
a
back
welcome
to
surprise.
contamination in placenta pills that its mother was eating. Since then, the CDC has begun to advise against eating the placenta. You know, who really cares what the CDC thinks? People are going to eat it regardless, and it's a trend that comes and goes throughout the years. Most recently, it was getting popular in 2013 or so when celebrities like Kim Kardashian were doing it.
Not too fond of the Kardashians.
Sort of gross trend in the early 2010s.
I don't like them.
Of course, some incredible posts. You know, I mean, of course, us millennials, we love to be foodies. We love a good $20 burger on a square plate with a knife in it.
Yeah.
You can't just eat the placenta straight up. You got
Little
people
bit.
getting fancy with stir-fry recipes and scrambled
Not
eggs
the
and
jar!
stuff. But a lot of times, having a placenta laying around at home just doesn't go as planned. A book about midwifery I read had a story about how she delivered a placenta that was unusual in appearance at a home birth. She wanted to research it a bit and took it home, flattened it out, wrapped it in plastic, and stuck it in her freezer.
Jesus
Some
Christ.
thought it was a frozen pizza. She came home to the house smelling like a wild animal because he was heating it in the oven.
Jesus
Nobody
fucking
ate
God!
it, but that has to be a funky aroma. You also had this one couple that kept their placenta and they weren't planning to eat it. What they were gonna do is they were gonna dig a dig hole in the yard, bury the placenta, and then plant a tree on top of it. So then the tree grows with
I don't want to know what kind of meat things would be coming off of
they're
that
so
thing.
busy with the newborn baby, they don't really have time to go dig a hole in the yard, so the placenta lays around for a bit. Then one day, they get home and the placenta is missing. They're
In the
looking around
server
for it,
this
and they
year?
find their dog
I have
sitting
no
in the
idea.
corner. He's really happy. And
I
he's
have
got a
no knowledge of
mysteriously
these things.
placenta-shaped belly. That dog probably thinks about this feast every
Chad,
single
I'm
day of its
tired.
life. If you could tell his friends
Your
about
dad
it, they
is
wouldn't
tired,
believe him.
Chad.
And it's not just women and dogs hopping on this trend. You had a woman on Reddit whose husband wanted to eat it, thinking that the stem cells would help his injury. But as much as I like to think that the reason why Rey Mysterio Jr. is now moving around like he's in his 20s again is that he was sitting in a hospital in Mexico just snacking on placentas. People in the comments were quick to note that stem cell therapy doesn't actually work like Christopher Reeves on South Park. Although,
No.
you know, it's still not as outlandish of a theory as that Irish guy that injected cum into his arm to fix his back pain.
We
People
don't
also
talk
noted
about that.
Whatever benefits may or may not exist for a woman eating the placenta, they definitely don't exist for the husband. In fact, some theorize, I don't know if this is true or not, but some theorize that eating the placenta as a man might actually be like taking a giant estrogen pill. Dude's gonna wind up like Ranma. And now, while you see a lot of people who are
Ranma
posting
mention!
the best placenta and egg recipes, in general, the people who are really serious about the health benefits aren't doing meals. What they do is they have their placenta dehydrated and put into capsules that they take over a period of 90 days or so. There's a lot of companies that provide this service, but there's also a lot of people that advise doing it yourself. And one Redditor named Puta Gatito documented the whole process.
The cannibal
My doctor let me take
boy
away my
ritual.
placenta. Now I eat a little bit
Shut up.
every day. The way she worded it, I pictured the placenta sitting on her counter and she occasionally takes a few bites of it. And attached is an imager album that goes into a lot more detail. And there's the placenta right there. Actually, it kind of looks like Squidward if he was in pain.
Stop
4
it.
months into her pregnancy, she decided she wanted to eat the placenta. But she wasn't really interested in the health benefits. She was just curious about what it would taste like. Only after looking into it did she
Stringy,
find
I would
there actually
imagine.
may be some health benefits. But still, as you can see from her Snapchat post, she's still having fun with it. At first, she was considering going to one of the pill companies that I mentioned before, but like a lot of people, she found that it was just more than she wanted to pay. She was also kind of grossed out by the idea that her placenta was going to go on machinery that all these other placentas went on. Like the lab techs are just stacking them up.
Because he can eat any more pancakes than any man alive?
And a lot of people in the comments section were like, wait, that's the thing that grossed you out? So if you're going to make placenta pills, first you gotta dehydrate the placenta. So she decides she's gonna borrow her mother's food dehydrator. Although I
Jesus
imagine that after this,
Christ.
her mother will just let her keep it. Now she has the equipment, she quickly realizes that she has no idea what she's doing. But the placenta ain't getting any fresher, so there's no turning back now. You can't just plop the whole placenta down on the food dehydrator, it's not gonna work. First, you gotta gut it like a Thanksgiving turkey. She removes the umbilical cord and cuts it open. And it kinda looks like a watermelon. And with that caption she put, "Eat me, eat me." I can't help but think of 1988's The Abomination. But those watermelon seeds you got there, those are actually blood clots. She removes the seeds and notes that it smells like a mix of raw pork and, of course, a lot of blood. She's not quite sure what to do next, so she decides to just cut them into little
Significant
strips
amount
like
of
she would
blood
with
has a
like
really
needle.
specific stench
Which
to it.
actually, according
Not
to
good.
the DIY guide I found, is what you're supposed to do. Although the guide I found also recommended adding lemon and
I'm going to vomit. That's what's gonna make you vomit?
And they start to look exactly like
We talk
tiny
about
boneless
cannibalism as much
but
as
as
we
they
do, and
dehydrate,
now
she
that we're
realized
here,
the
now
pieces
you're
she
gonna
cut are
vomit.
Too thick to fully dehydrate. So she cuts them in half, and then
I
she
thought
manages
you
to fit
were a
everything.
man.
With her placental mise en pause now complete, she decides to move it. I placed the dehydrator in the garage in anticipation of the odor. An hour and a half in, there was surprisingly no smell at all. Unfortunately, the smell did come. The smell was like dry cat / dog food. Wasn't
He
terrible,
cannot
but if
be
you walked by my
Andrew.
house, it definitely smelled like I had 20 cats in my garage, minus the pee smell of cat hoarding. The whole process took 4.5 hours. And when it was complete, she noted that it was very
But
rubbery,
Andrew and
even more
Ashley
so than
eat
beef jerky.
placenta.
She
I
then
doubt
cleaned
it,
the
actually.
dehydrator and puts it back in the cabinet for future use.
I don't
And
think
she
that's
notes
how
it
that
was
would go.
easier to fully clean than she expected. But I feel like no matter how good you clean that, it's gotta still impart some kind of flavor. I just think of that guy that was like, wow, why does everything I cook in my slow cooker taste amazing? And then he opens it up and finds a bunch of dead lizards inside the heat.
That's significantly more vomit-inducing. Jesus fucking Christ.
Time to grab the
Jesus
coffee
fucking
grinder.
God, no.
She quickly discovers that grinding up the placenta bits makes it smell even worse. And because of that smell and the rubbery texture, she was kind of worried that eating this would make her sick. So she decides to go full Anderson smoke show mode and wraps a baking sheet in foil and bakes the afterbirth grinds.
This is gonna make for some easy cleanup.
Terrible idea. Since it was so finely ground, it started smoking almost immediately. My house reeked for 3 days. But despite the smell
Great
and the
dead
burning, it
lizards.
actually turned out fine. She says that she takes one a day, and
I
they
don't
work
like
amazing.
dead lizards.
Although people in the
I don't want
comments
them
were like,
around.
work
I
amazingly
don't want
how
lizards
they
around.
do, and they weren't
Lizards
satisfied
are
with any of the
preferable to
answers they
bugs,
got.
but I'd
In
still
general,
not.
the response was
I
kind of
don't
barren.
want
I
anything in
find
my
the
house
science
without my
behind
express
plant benefits
permission.
of this to be questionable. Also, possibly insane. Placebo. But hell, what do I know? I'm just a biologist. You had other people that did think the benefits were real, but she ruined them by cooking the nutrients out. Others were just grossed out. You're a fucking disgusting lunatic. No offense, but seriously, what the fuck is the master with you? That you would even think of doing this, let alone follow through. If my wife did this after having a loss, I'd probably try to get custody of the kid and get her the help she obviously needs. My fiance just gave birth on October 9th. It was not beautiful.
Whatever exists in my home without my knowledge
horrifying.
exists without my
Watching it
consent.
happen
So
has given me
true!
Nightmares since. The doctor pulling the placenta out of her was even worse than the birth. At no point during or after the birth did either of us think, let's eat that stuff that just came out of you. This post has made me sick. May FSM have mercy on your soul. Goddamn, I totally forgot flying spaghetti monster was the thing. And some people pointed out that this
A lot
is
of
actually
people did.
relatively common. Back in the late 80s/early 90s, I worked in a photo lab. The amount of photos I processed.
The last random reptile I saw was like a little snake slithering around.
After the birth of a baby.
And that was not here,
not
thankfully.
as uncommon as I'd hoped. Hey, you go girl, you're amazing. hey, you go girl, you're amazing. This
Wrong
is very
your.
common in practice. Placenta is what keeps a baby healthy in the womb. Why wouldn't she make cats?
That was me.
It gave a baby older.
Came
than
round
me
for a
after 9
peek.
months, and it's so.
He had
good.
to get a
It's so
feel
warm.
for me,
I
like
had a
picking up
C-section. Forgot to
random
ask
loose
about it
metal
beforehand.
trash around and
Focus
throwing it
on
into the
her.
back of a
I
pickup
am
truck.
doing this with my next child, and I am so glad you did it. Tires keep me healthy on the road, but I don't want to eat them. People also
Snack, did
notice
you
that
like
in this
it when I
time
tried to
period,
pick
she
up the
posted
house
r/cooking
foundation that needed to
asking
get
for
thrown
chicken
out? Did you
livers.
like it?
And while at first you might think, oh, that's just some kind of a
Chad, can you comprehend how heavy a wooden house foundation is?
The placenta tastes like a chicken liver. So maybe she was trying to figure out how to cook it then. More than anything, though, it seemed like people were mostly
Flying
just
spaghetti monster when
disappointed
everyone
that even though
collectively
her
realized
original
edgy
intention
Reddit
was to just
atheists
eat it
would
out of
cringe.
curiosity, and despite it at one point looking like
We
a
need to
succulent
acknowledge it
Chinese
more, to
meal,
be honest.
She never actually ate the placenta chunks. Seriously, cook that shit like a steak. I felt like OP just kept trying every method possible to avoid doing direct consumption. This is like some half-hearted attempt between being edgy and being a giant pussy. Wait, P. Hubins, I know that guy. Actually, I'm gonna shout out his game UFO 50 because I was playing it last night and it's really good.
Is that game
that's
worth
where you're
playing?
at
Is that
right
something
now.
I should do?
2016 Jason Blaha has something for
I haven't really looked into it at all.
Aaron Curtis, somebody who's been on my radar for a little while, decided to eat his wife's placenta for gains.
I thought I
That's
better
not-
cook it and wash off some of the slime before I
No,
eat it.
that's
Give me
not
the
how-
highest chance
no.
of dying.
Entree of his daughter's placenta.
That is charred beyond charred, man.
Tastes like liver, I think.
Liver?
That is some seriously disgusting shit.
Anyway, that's all for now. If you like this video, turn on
Infinite
notifications
food
and check out
glitch.
my video about the Chinese guy eating a baby. I'm out.
Hell, if it was gonna happen anywhere, it'd be China. Dear God in heaven. Chat. 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 Chat, I have to piss. I'll be right back. Don't leave! I know where you live! I'm here. I'm back. I am returned to this mortal coil against my better judgment. Pain and suffering is endless. You know that? Alright, I'll get more. I'll get more. Just give Pappy a minute. Just give Dad a minute, and I'll collect more of the slop to commence further and further slop. That's what you're here for. That's what you've all come round for. For your dear old Pappy. You're here to see me scream at whatever. At everything and everything there is to scream about. Watch another Zelda? Jesus Christ. I don't know why things gotta be this way, only that I'm stuck here with no chance of ever leaving. I don't know why this is my life, only that it must be. There is no hope for beyond this. I don't know why things have blighted me so, to be upfront with you. Just in general now. Things always gotta be a specific way with all of you. Just to hurt me. I wonder if Anise watched that video too. Anise seems like she'd watch Wang. Yeah. She'd probably watch Justin Wang. By the way, the game that Anise was working on, was formally announced. And, will have some kind of demo available to play this month. So maybe we'll do that at some point. Do 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 do. Helped work on Coffin of Andrew and Renee Chapter 2, apparently. As like a story consultant, I think, right? What a good little creature. What a hard-working little babu. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm still getting more things for the slop. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh yeah, that'll be powerful. That'll be palatable, even. I could do that. I could do that all goddamn day, all night, I could. That seems easy. That seems really simple, to be upfront with you. Downright decent. Alright, hang on. Hang on now, son. Hang on now, boy. Hang on now. Dear old Dad's just getting some more shit for the slop. Okay, this should be enough. I believe I have to look around my little lantern thing. Okay. Post a Halloween special when the slop starts dragging. It's gonna happen sooner rather than later, I think. Shitpost Central. Tony Soprano's Underground, Part 3. I look forward to getting acclaim for Sopranos music again.
In progress. Block off the bridge. Wanna die a superstar.
Figuring the fuck out is great. Yeah! Dude, I'd love to stream Underground. Remember the Sopranos game? I think I asked about that a few streams back. If that was, like, worth doing. Gonna be Claim Central.
Officer Dick, what's your status? Do you still have visual?
It is not.
Fucking piece of shit got away.
Now it's time to get that gabagool.
You know, Chad, I've never actually had Gabagool, and I don't even really know what Gabagool is, to be honest.
Damn, T, you got away from the pigs and you beat my time. That's fucking badass. Here's your gabagool.
Thanks, Johnny. You should have seen that prick's face when I hit the gas.
Man, Jersey's different. Ark, hello.
T, you're never gonna believe who helped me beat up those scooter kids. Stealing another man's gabagool is not cool.
Whoa, Mike V. I
It's
knew you
him.
were a Jersey local, but...
What's up, Tony? Just out skating? Cool. Me too. I was just in the middle of showing Chris this new trick. Why don't you try it out? Get your special meter full and hit up a flamingo.
Don't fuck it up, Dave.
Don't fuck it up. And underground is so fucking.
What? Are you going to the skateboard demo today?
Unfortunately not. I need to get ready for a concert tonight with my band. You should stop by if you're not busy.
Speaking
It's
of the
dehydrated
demo, are you ready to
salami?
go yet? I feel like I've been waiting 3 months.
What is it usually served
The
with?
rest of the guys.
Dehydrated salami just sounds like jerky with extra steps.
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
What a big pussy shop.
Muska's in town. Why the
Chad Muska, my man.
What do you hear? What do you say?
Wait a minute, where the fuck is
Emphasis
Chris?
on Chad. Sopranos game is pretty decent.
Yo, someone just stole my
It was
whip.
him!
Like taking candy from a fucking baby.
You should always help Chad Muska. Chad Muska will always be there for you when no one else is. That's the way it should be. From What Lurks Beneath, Park Ranger, warn, never investigate crying sounds.
Across the United
Is this gonna be like a missing 411 thing?
Sinister calls out from the woods, mimicking.
Chad, you ever hear the theory that there's like a cannibal cult in like every American national park?
New Mexico woods.
And that's what missing 411 is?
A Kentucky family terrorized by a grotesque entity in their own room, and 2 Idaho teenagers trapped on a bridge by supernatural forces. This episode will take you through 3 cases proving that when you hear something
30
strange
minutes.
in the wilderness, you should never,
Every
ever
time.
follow it. I'm Josh Ninocchio. This is What Lurks Beneath. You won't want to miss this one. On the night of July 23rd, 2007, at around 9:30,
I think that was a good day for
a
me.
boy named Jacob was sitting in the
That sounds like it was a very good point in my life.
reservation in rural New Mexico. The house was a modest ranch-style home that had been passed down by his grandfather. While it was mostly surrounded by desert scrub, the back side of the property went right up to the
Not to
edge
go
of
outside
a
if I hear
densely wooded
crying
area that
outside
ran for
late
about
at
a
night.
mile. Their closest neighbor was about 5 miles away, so they were really isolated out there. And he's sitting there on the couch watching TV with the window open because the room has gotten pretty stuffy at this point. And he suddenly hears this really strange sound. Initially,
Dude, I don't care how
he thinks
stuffy the
it's
room
coming
is, I'm
from
not
TV,
opening the
so he
window
mutes
in
it,
the
but
living
the sound continues. And that's when he realizes that it's coming from outside. So he holds his breath so he can listen better. And it sounds like maybe it's just the wind or maybe an animal. But as he continues to listen, he realizes that it's a sound he recognizes. It sounds exactly like a baby crying. At the time, Jacob had an older sister who had moved out years back. but her
Getting
son
freaky
had a
on the
really
bridge.
distinctive
The bridge is a
cry.
good spot for
This
freak,
sounds
I'll be
just
honest.
like him. So Jacob is thinking, oh, they've just dropped by for a visit.
Nothing bad ever happens underneath a bridge.
He heads to the front of the house, fully expecting to see his sister and nephew. But when he opens the door, the driveway is empty. And for a minute, everything's pretty quiet. And he's about to write this whole thing off as his imagination when the sound starts up again. And there's no mistaking it this time. The crying sound just keeps going, and it sounds more and more desperate by the second, just like a baby in distress. Naturally, he's thinking there's no way that's actually an infant. I mean, he's in the middle of nowhere, for crying out loud. There's nobody around for miles. But as he continues to listen, the crying continues, and it sounds so real and human that he can't shake the feeling that maybe there really is a baby somewhere outside. And this is where he begins to feel really unnerved because
Well,
something
yeah.
about the entire situation
That'll
isn't
happen.
sitting right with him. He takes a closer look around. It's pretty dark by this point, but there's a full moon, so he could see pretty well across their property. And as
Anytime
he's
there's a
looking
full
around,
moon outside, I can see, like, perfectly well.
he could still hear this crying
I don't know if that's
sound.
just a thing for around here.
Pinpoint where it's coming from. It seems like it's coming from the edge of
Screaming at
woods
the cryptid to
back
shut
of
the
property.
fuck up.
And he stands there for a few moments just
Fuck
contemplating
off!
what his next move should be, and then heads back in the house and out the back door. Immediately, he can hear the crying.
Doesn't that literally backfire on someone that does that in,
from the woods.
Until
All
Dawn?
these horrible thoughts
That
are
happens,
going through
right?
his mind, like, what if somebody just abandoned a baby out here? Or what if a toddler had somehow got lost? He knows it's unlikely, but he's not heartless. He just can't ignore it. So he steps off the porch and begins to walk across the backyard, heading towards the woods.
You'd have more
At
light
this
to see in the
point,
full moon.
The crying
I think my eyes are just really good at low light
vision.
vision.
Approaching the tree line, but when he reaches the edge of
That
the
sounds
woods,
like something that would be
he stops for a
appropriate.
moment. It's really dark. The moonlight that's lighting up the
You know,
rest
that
of the
might
yard
explain why I can see so well in the dark, but my phone can't pick up low light to save its life.
Sounds like it's coming
That would
from
explain a
just
bit.
inside the woods. Even though he feels scared, he realizes that this could truly be an infant in need and that he just needs to be brave. So he takes a deep breath and he steps into the forest. And he walks about 10 yards in, pushing past branches and stepping over.
With the same energy as telling the Mandaloid, get the fuck out,
Seems
bitch.
to be just ahead of him,
Hmm.
but as he continues to walk, he notices something very odd. The sound doesn't seem
Can
to be getting
Godzilla
any
survive
closer.
analog
He walks
horror?
until he's about 20 yards
Godzilla'd be
into the woods,
picking
stops.
bits of Satan
At
out of
this
his
point,
teeth with
he's
Siren
looking
Head.
all around, turning in circles, trying to figure out exactly where this crying
Or he
is
was
coming
an
from.
owl all
But he
along
still
who
sees
knew.
nothing. And as he's standing there, the
Ooh.
crying suddenly stops. It just cuts off mid-cry, like someone flipped a switch. He's standing in the dark woods, all alone, and it is so quiet that he could hear a pin drop. And all of a sudden, this overwhelming feeling of dread takes over. Now, I don't know if any of you out there have ever got that gut feeling where you realize you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what was happening. It's like he's being watched. The hair on the back of his neck stands up and he feels really exposed and vulnerable.
You know, anytime that there's like some goings on
Around and starts running back
that I
toward
feel
his
like might
house.
lead to trouble, I just mind my own fucking business.
And once he's locked the
And I've just
doors,
always
he goes
done
to
that
the
my
window
entire
and
life.
looks out towards the woods again.
Like, eh.
But there's nothing there. At
Nah.
this point, there's no
I
sound,
don't think
there's
so.
no movement. There's really nothing unusual.
There a werewolf like walking by my window right
The
now?
crying never returned.
Not my
It's
problem.
connected to the sounds of the forest. That night, he really struggled to
The
sleep.
basement's
He wasn't
haunted?
sure if the
Nah.
sign was just plain
Nah, I'm
trick on
fine.
him or what
I'm
it
good.
was, but
Don't feel the need
he
to
was
look into
sure
that.
What he heard was a baby crying. There's just no mistaking it. Well, the next morning, he comes to the kitchen for breakfast, and his dad is sitting at the kitchen table, you know.
But I
drinking
have
coffee,
your
and his
problem.
mom and sister aren't around, and Jacob sits down at the table, and for a minute, he doesn't
Doesn't have
really
the same
say
energy
because he's
as
not
that line
sure
from
he should
Fight Club,
tell
does
what
it?
happened last night. But then he decides that
Not
he
quite.
has to tell somebody. Eventually, he admits to his
Not the
father
real
that
one or the
something
line that they
strange
cut to make room for that one.
and so when his dad asks what, Jacob explains the entire scenario from start to finish. But as he's telling his father the story, he notices his dad's expression completely.
Shadow Man's visible
He's no
confusion when I
longer
just stare at them
casually
until they
listening.
leave.
He's sitting up straight, and there's this look of concern on his face. And when he finishes his story, his
Sadako's
dad
reaction
is
when she
quiet for
comes
some
through the
moments.
TV and I
Jacob
rip
is
off my
convinced that
breakaway
his dad
pants.
doesn't believe him. So he asks him if that's the case, and to his surprise, his father blows him away and explains that not only does he believe him, but that his own father shared the exact same story from when they lived there. Sometime long before Jacob was born, his grandfather was alone at the house, and according to what he told Jacob's father, he had been woken up by what sounded like an infant crying.
Shared on
outside.
DGen about
And just
Sadako.
like Jacob,
It's been
his
like a running
grandfather had
bit for
gone
like
to the
20
woods to
years.
investigate and found nothing. Even though he was using a flashlight, it seemed to stay just ahead of him no matter how far he looked. And he looked for a long time, around an hour and a half. before he
Capturing the
eventually
rake,
gave up.
strapping
Needless
it to a
say,
table in the
Jacob was
basement,
in shock. His
and just
grandfather was
dunking
a practical
moonshine
man, and
right down its
he
gullet
heard
just to
it,
see
and
what
there was
happens.
something to it. Safe to say that he avoided all the wooded areas.
Sadako, some
altogether
privacy and no
after that.
responsibilities
Even
in
during
the morning.
day, when there was nothing to be afraid of, it still just wasn't
Same.
worth the risk. Years later, a lot of the trees were cut down for lumber, but even then, Jacob refused to set foot back in what was left of the forest. Now, Jacob still doesn't know what made that crying sound. Was it some kind of animal that just happened to sound like a baby, or was it the wind playing tricks, or was it something else entirely? Maybe something that had been there long before his family moved onto the land. Something that had called out to both him and his grandfather years apart. Jacob learned a valuable lesson that a lot of us should learn. Trust your
The rake showing visible fear when approached by a group of Chinese men with chili
in the small town
sauce.
of Rogers, Kentucky, a woman by the name of Mrs. Quinn was sound asleep in her bed. She lived in a modest home with her 2 daughters, Judy, who was 14.
Are we bringing
and
up
Brenda,
cannibalizing cryptids again?
Rogers was the perfect place for Mrs. Quinn to raise her children. Here, it was quiet and nothing much ever happened. But on this night,
You know, Thunderbird probably tastes great, to be honest.
That morning,
If Thunderbirds are still around, you could make a lot of KFC out of Thunderbird.
Would have disturbed her sleep. There wasn't any loud noise or anything like that, but something had left her wide awake. And as she lay there in bed trying to figure out what was going on, she had a strange feeling that something just wasn't right. And then she noticed it. Something was right beside her bed, or at least that's what it seemed like at first. But her eyes adjusted, and she realized...
Isn't the rake super skinny? What are the Chinese gonna do?
It was
Find the fattest
and there
part.
was no way on earth that it was a human being. Quinn was
Favorite episode of the X-Files? The vampire one.
Entity.
The vampire one's fantastic.
Floating there as vaguely resembling a baby, except that...
Because it's like, is he actually a vampire? No, I think he's just crazy. And then Mulder stakes him in the heart, and they're like, Jesus, Mulder, you staked him in the heart? That's hardcore.
It's also dark.
And then they're like doing an autopsy on the vampire, and they see the fangs, and then he gets up and is like, oh, he's a real vampire.
Glowing, and even weirder,
it's fantastic.
Flesh that curled around the eyes seemed to glow on their own, too. Almost as if there was a light coming from...
Which would taste better, Slender Man or Mothman? I don't think Slender Man is corporeal enough that you could eat him.
Was that it reminded her of a...
And Mothman is made of bug meat. I don't think you want bug meat.
When you touch him. And as you'd imagine, she was terrified. I mean, imagine waking up in the middle
Best
of the night.
autopsy scene is still from The Thing.
Bizarre thing.
Where you get your hands bitten off?
She was so scared, in fact, that all she could do was...
How much longer is it?
Completely
Good question.
frozen and staring at this bizarre...
We're at 10 minutes of
intruder
26.
Somehow gotten into her bedroom. And then, just after hovering there for a moment, this thing began to move. Now, at first, she was relieved that it was leaving her room, but that was when she realized...
That's an Among Us.
Horror, it left the
That
room,
is a little Among Us boy.
and went
Look
in
at him.
direction
I'm looking
of
at
her
him.
2 daughters.
It's just legs, a torso, and like a little nub for a head.
She finally managed
Look
to
at
break
it.
through her paralysis. She jumped out of bed, rushed after this thing, desperate to protect her children from this thing, but when she caught up with it...
I miss little guys. Everyone should miss little guys.
This thing was now hovering directly...
And then the
above
mischievous
her
cycle
head.
begins again.
And Judy, of course, was wide awake at this point, staring up at this thing, and with
Moratorium
absolute
on
terror
guys
in her
with
eyes.
beards going over
Strangely,
history on
Judy
YouTube.
would later report that as
Probably.
this thing hovered above her, she felt a very bizarre sensation. Although it wasn't touching her at all, it felt like she was being physically pulled on against her will. It was like this thing was using some sort of control that made her want to get out of bed. The sensation was irresistible. She said that she could actually feel herself slipping off the bed, being drawn toward it by some sort of force. Now, if you're a parent, of course you've run through a lot of scenarios in your head about how to protect your kids.
Chat, what if you're being haunted and you see the ghost in your room in the corner and you just whip your dick out?
Just stands there in the doorway, watching this.
You think it'd leave?
Her daughters being pulled towards it, and then everything changed. It happened in an
I think it would leave.
just as suddenly as it had started. Judy said that the
Taking 1/6 of a stream to convey 8 minutes of information.
Quinn knew was
It's a very
that
common
this
type of
moment,
video,
this
isn't it?
dark baby simply blinked out of existence. It didn't leave through the door or the window. It just kind of
That ghost looked like an Ash
This
baby.
terrifying account would eventually come to the attention of Leonard Stringfield. Stringfield served as a public relations advisor for the UFO investigation organization NICAP, which was the National Investigations Committee on Aerial Phenomena. NICAP was headed by Donald Kehoe, and they were one of the most prominent UFO research organizations in the United States at the time. Even though ufologists got involved, it's not clear...
Chat,
that
I'd
the
watch like a
people
Back to the
that
Future
appeared
spinoff where
that
Doc
night
Brown
was
gets really into like
After all,
cryptid research.
No one in the Quinn family reported seeing anything in the sky, so if it wasn't an alien...
He goes, drives out into the woods,
Could it have been a
tries to find
Watergate or
Bigfoot.
something similar?
Just do that for like an hour and a
in
half.
their household? And if
That's a good
so,
movie.
Where did it come from? What did it want with Judy?
Was
and why did
Glitfuck
it
behind
suddenly
this?
disappear?
Anything's possible.
Unfortunately, we'll never know the answers to these questions. Whatever Mrs. Quinn and her daughters encountered that night in August.
Look at him. He's doing like the funny walk.
And changed their perception of
He's doing the funny walk.
What's really interesting is that the sound of babies crying in remote
German
locations
suplexing the gray through a glass table.
Not only can some animals like cougars or bobcats make similar noises, but it is actually
How
one of those
thick is the
things that
Mothman?
pops up time and time
I
again.
believe the bronze statue of Mothman in that town has like a fat ass on it. I believe they specifically made the statue have a giant dumpy.
In some UFO encounters. Go even further back, and European fairies were sometimes said to make similar noises in the forest at night. Nowadays, especially in North America, people associate the sound with Bigfoot. But as it turns out, Native Americans were certainly familiar with this phenomenon as well, and they sometimes blame these cries on mysterious entities.
Doc Brown visited Buenos Aires in 2015.
They are powerful water spirits rooted in the
Looks nothing like common
several
Mothman
Native
descriptions.
tribes. They are said to
Every
inhabit
time.
bodies of water like springs, lakes, and streams. Those who have seen them describe them as creatures resembling human infants, and their cries are supposed to be omens of death or disaster. In various traditions, they might appear with fish tails or reptilian features, or
If I see one of these things, it's getting a DDT.
other times you might never see them and only know about them from their haunting, disembodied cries that mimic human infants. Cries specifically designed to lure people into the woods. Responding to these
Chat, by the
cries
way,
and trying to rescue
every
or
single
interact
match,
with
including the main
these
event,
creatures, because anyone foolish
fully
enough to
edited
try usually
and
ends up
exported,
drowned or
and
cursed
I'll,
with bad luck or
they're now
find
in a dedicated
themselves in
timeline
grave
for like the full
spiritual
episode.
danger. But that doesn't mean that water babies
The
are
episode is still not done.
It's said
It will
that
be
those with the
in
proper
1 week on the
training, like
19th.
healers, can sometimes approach them respectfully.
It will be
The
done before
spiritual
then.
leaders of some tribes can
The
even
runtime is currently 3 hours and 13 minutes, and that is already the longest episode in the series.
Whatever the source, the sound of an
I
infant
guess that's
crying
fitting
in
for the
outdoors
1-year
is
anniversary
disturbing.
episode.
I mean, even though none of us would want to follow a noise like that, we're
Dude,
all
that main event is
eventually
almost an
hardwired to
hour and a
respond.
half.
In fact,
So strap
studies
yourselves
from the
in for that
University
one.
of Oxford found that the human brain lights up whenever we hear babies crying. The parts of the brain that respond are often associated with our fight. or
DeLorean
flight
in front of a
response.
now
We tag
defunct
them
home
as
appliances
important
company and did ads for
milliseconds
them.
before we consciously process the sound.
Man
Seems like
needs
a part
money.
of our brains ripe for manipulation.
You know, you can
doesn't it?
cut more than
Well, the
nothing at
answer's
all,
so
right?
Simple then, right? Just don't go outside and don't respond.
Okay,
In the
but
early
Thief,
2000s, a 17-year-old
when
boy
things
named
flow
Bill
together
moved
really
to a
well
small
in
town
like a
in
match,
Idaho,
where the
about
entire
5
point of the
miles
match
from a
type is that people are
Bill's
beating the
town was
shit
one
out of
those
each other
places that maybe had
in various parts of the
where
arena.
Everyone pretty much knew each other, and parents generally felt safe.
You really
letting their
shouldn't.
kids run around. I mean, you could picture it: quiet, safe, and
Thief.
frankly, boring for teenagers. Well, to
I think you're
combat
going to be
boredom,
very happy
Bill
with a
and his
specific
best friend
bit
Paul
during this match.
would often just hop in the car and drive
That
around
happens
town
roughly
with
halfway
no
through.
particular in mind.
You're going to be very
They
happy with a
stormed the
specific
back
bit.
roads and remote areas of their county. Occasionally, when they really wanted some excitement, they would venture off into the reservation. The reservation wasn't off limits or anything like that. It was just a place that their parents rarely went, and that meant that it held a certain
You never
sort of
want to
mystique
make
for
me
the
happy.
boys. They heard the rumor that there was actually an old
You're my
bridge
son.
where if you parked at night and turned off your
You should be
engine
getting
lights,
your own happiness and not need me to
supposedly
coddle
hear
you.
cries of the
You
water
ungrateful
babies.
swine.
Well, they knew exactly what their next adventure would be, and so the following weekend they decided to check it out. At this point, it was a little after 11 p.m., and Bill pulled his car onto the reservation. Right away, with the anticipation of the trip ahead of them, both him and Paul were already kind of spooked. The headlights cut through the darkness as they followed the winding roads deeper into unfamiliar territory. Bill had already been on the reservation during the day before, but everything looked different at night. You guys know how that is. Things can look drastically different in the darkness. Paul asked whether or not Bill was sure about where they were headed, but Bill admitted he wasn't positive, but he'd heard that the bridge was supposed to be next to an abandoned
Bareback
schoolhouse.
riding
It
champ.
couldn't be that hard to
Out
find,
of context,
20
that
minutes
bit
later,
is like
after driving
insane.
around, they spotted what appeared to be
Psychotic
an
screen
old,
cap.
dilapidated building
Time?
that
That's a
was
good
once
question.
clearly a school.
17 minutes of 26.
That crossed over a canal. This had to be it. So they pulled onto the bridge and stopped right in the middle of it. Just like
And Tony Conzi are saying, you know, you can cut things right. Well, he's watching the feed for Brian MJF.
Happen. And of course, he turned the engine off. And for the next few minutes, they just sat in silence, and they strained to hear anything unusual. But the only thing they could hear was the constant sound of water flowing underneath the bridge. Now, if you've ever done something like this, you probably know how things went. They started off a little scared, but then, when nothing happened, they both felt dumb. When things stayed quiet for long enough, they started joking about how there was really nothing to the story, that this was just some silly urban legend. Eventually, Paul's like, you know what, let's just leave. Like, we clearly wasted our time. Bill agreed, reached forward to turn the key in the ignition, but there's something happening. Just
you motherfuckers got EMP'd real bad.
Came on, but the engine wouldn't turn over. Now, this didn't even make any sense, because up until this point, his car was fine. And Paul's like, what's going on here? Like, what's wrong? But Bill just kept saying he doesn't know. The car had been working fine for months until this point, and certainly, out of all the times for it to break down, this is definitely a heck of a coincidence. But Bill, being very persistent, kept trying it, he kept trying it, and nothing would work, except for the lights, which only made them more confused. Bill ended up trying to start the car several times, but the result was always the same. Paul's like, you know what, I have an idea. Maybe it's the starter. And Bill agreed.
I'm sure.
But they were both starting to feel nervous, because here they were.
Sure, that's all it was.
In the middle of nowhere, they were alone, miles away from home on a bridge that was supposedly haunted. If tribal police came by, well, it would look suspicious, and they would have some explaining to do. So Paul's like, dude, you need to call your mom. But Bill didn't even have to think about it.
Dude, if it's just the bridge that's haunted, put it in, like, just put it in drive,
and she made herself
and just get out and push the goddamn thing across the bridge.
About them being on the reservation late at night. So knowing that that was not an option, they both just sat there thinking, what are we gonna do? Like, we gotta figure something out.
This is not rocket science.
Bill pulled out his phone and told Paul that, you know what, I'm gonna call my buddy Mike. And at the time, Michael lived closer to the res than they did, and fortunately had a truck. If he was home, he could stop by and give their car a jump. Worst case scenario, he could simply tow them back. No problem, right? So he calls Mike, Mike answers, Bill explains everything, asks if Mike could come help them out, and Mike knew where they were, and so he agreed to come by, and he's like, listen, I'll be there in about 15 or 20 minutes, just sit tight. Cool. Hangs up, and now all they had to do was just sit tight and wait. And it was during this time that, they would try to start the car again, hoping that this was just some fluke, right? That they would somehow get a...
Surely everything will just magically be fine now.
And they keep trying, and they keep trying, and they keep trying. This is weird. So 10 minutes goes by, and Bill begins to notice something moving near the canal. And because it's dark, he assumed that it was his eyes playing tricks on him, but he could see clear as day that whatever it was moving was on all fours, and it was moving along the edge and heading toward the bridge.
Speaking of the rake,
obviously in the situation they're in, this spooked Bill, and so he quickly whispered over to Paul, and he's like, can you see that? Or is it just me? But Paul noticed it too, and gasped. Both men began to wonder if this was a coyote or something, because neither of them knew what it was. Even though there was enough light to see that there was something, they couldn't really discern by the shape what it was. It looked kind of like an animal, but it just kind of looked off. But they both continue to stare at this thing, and as it's getting closer and closer, it's becoming clearer. And as this is happening, they're realizing that aside from the shape, the way its movements were so awkward. Its limbs were too long, and the shape of its body was
Look,
odd.
it's him!
And as it gets to a point in the canal where it's illuminated more by the moonlight, Bill can see that this is actually this very, very thin, gaunt, almost skeletal figure crawling around on all fours, heading toward the bridge. Now, if that isn't frightening enough, they can now see that its movements are extremely jerky and unnatural, more so than before.
There's two of you, just kick its ass!
It begins to climb up onto the bridge, which...
Why is the solution to problems that come up like this never just kick its ass?
Bill reaches out, honks the horn, and he's holding it down as hard as he can, because everything around them is so quiet. The sound is so loud and abrasive in the night that it gets...
Rake deciding to become a bridge troll.
Snaps in their direction, and it stands up on two legs, just like a human being, its arms hanging limp at its sides. But by this point, both men are so frightened, and they could see this thing as clear as ever, and it's at least 8 or 9 feet tall. But again, its body is so disfigured and emaciated, and the skin is stretched that they could see every bone. Now, interestingly, when Bill would later retell this story, he would
Gore
explain
it!
the closest thing it resembled
The
was
gore!
actually the werewolf version of Professor Lupin from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's
But
your poll,
they sat there
Jesus
for quite a
Christ.
while, just terrified of what they were looking at, but this didn't do anything but just stare back at them. And, you know, the seconds went by.
Just
and
throw
nothing
some
they could
shit at
do.
it.
There was nowhere they could go. They were stuck inside this vehicle, but in an act of horror, this thing slowly put one foot in front of the other.
Skip the rest just for that entrance.
Itself and the two men.
What's the
and
time at?
like in a scene out of Indiana Jones.
You have 3 minutes of this
you know
left.
How like something happens that saves him.
It's
This
3
bright light
minutes.
appears over the ridge.
3.
It was in fact the headlights coming from Michael's truck. Immediately, this thing, you know, and drops back down on all fours, and with surprising speed, just kind of scurries away from the bridge, heading back toward the hills in the distance. By the time Mike pulled up beside them, Bill and Paul were still sitting in the car, both very pale and very visibly shaken. Mike gets out of his truck and he's like, "Are you guys okay? Like, what the heck's happening here?"
What was that noise he made? That's just the Scrongler. Don't worry about it.
Neither of them wanted to say what they had just witnessed. I mean, can you blame them?
Chad, you're legally allowed to have a blowtorch with you at all times, right?
Assured Michael that they were fine.
I feel like a blowtorch is like a good go-to in case you just randomly bump into a cryptid.
Freaking them out. So Mike's like, "All right, whatever." He nodded. He looks around, and he figured, "Let's get to work. Let's try to get this car going." So they all
You
get out,
think you got
and
me
they're
now,
pushing it off the
skunk
bridge
ape?
to the side of the
Get
road.
lit!
But Bill noticed that Paul kept looking nervously toward the hills where this thing.
Skunk Ape's got a lot of hair on him. That's real flammable.
Mike's like, "You know what? I'm gonna suggest that like we pop the hood and like really check out the battery connections, and before we try to jump anything, let's fix this before anything gets more complicated." Now, fortunately for Bill and Paul, there was nothing wrong with the engine, and you know, they explained to Mike what had happened again, and nobody can make sense of it. There was nothing physically wrong with anything in the engine. So, you know, they tried to start the car, and sure enough, on the first go, it roared to life. Everything was
That's
fine.
convenient.
They couldn't explain exactly what happened or why it happened. Of course, in light of this, now Mike was pissed off because he's thinking, "I had come all the way out here to rescue you two when your car was completely fine. Like this, you just wasted my time." But he was glad that the problem wasn't any more serious than it had been. Bill could only assume that whatever had happened was caused by the thing that they had seen, because nothing else up to this point was making any sense. After both of them desperately thanked Mike for coming out and saving their butts, he followed them back to town to make sure nothing else happened. Neither of them were sure, but they realized that whatever it was, whatever had happened that night, was drawn to them for some reason, and that there were reasons that they were warned not to go on the res.
Yeah, have a good night, Rui.
Was it some kind of
Sleep well.
creature, maybe a spirit from Native American folklore, and was it somehow related to legends about the water babies? All Bill can say
The
for certain
Agua
is that
Babu.
whatever it was, it had the power to stop his car and trap them on that bridge. And he has no desire to experience that ever again. And because you guys all made it this far, I want you to all comment below, "Don't follow the screams." So that way I know who.
I don't think I'll be doing that.
didn't. And if you guys enjoy content like this,
It sounds like something I'm not going to do.
And stories of the mysterious and supernatural, what are you waiting for? Smack that like and subscribe button right now for more content just like this. As always, never forget.
Chat, why are people afraid of
Keep it in
dogmen?
mind, and I'll see you
Why
guys
is that a
in the
thing?
very next episode.
It's just a dog. That's all it is. Just hit it with a hammer. Huh. Next, ahoy, the Magnum revolver.
Six rounds. No compromise. Any questions? Didn't think so.
Revolvers are pretty.
Magnum revolvers are a powerful class of weapons that see frequent use in games. A step up from other sidearms.
As long as it's something
they hit
better than like a
hard
38.
and take no prisoners. So, why do some still prefer revolvers to semi-automatic pistols? Why are they associated with powerful Magnum cartridges? And did I fire 6 shots?
A snub nose isn't going to solve enough problems.
The basic principle of a firearm is very simple. a projectile, some propellant, and a vessel to contain...
I understand how a gun works, goddammit!
The only difficult part is reloading. One solution was to have more than one barrel. Early volley guns fired multiple shots at once, increasing the odds of hitting a target. This idea was implemented on a smaller scale with handheld pepperbox revolvers, fired sequentially with its barrels hand-rotated to ready the next shot. One key disadvantage of multiple barrels is the added weight.
Yeah, that.
And so, some designs stuck to a single barrel with a revolving chamber instead. The most influential revolving gun design was patented in 1836 by a man named Samuel Colt.
Yeah, that's my boy!
Over the next few decades, Colt's designs and salesmanship ensured his success, and Colt revolvers would see extensive use throughout the American Civil War. Perhaps his most famous design is the Colt Single Action
Army,
the gun that won the West. By the 20th century, self-loading pistols that feed from magazines were perfected, and the greater capacity and faster reloads of magazines seemed like a logical upgrade. Revolvers can lay claim to greater reliability, however.
They don't
and
jam.
Time-tested designs stayed in fashion with die-hard fans. Auto-loading designs are less suited to feeding rimmed cartridges, and a longer casing can be more difficult to extract. So, revolvers found a niche with magnum loads.
Yeah.
The .357 Magnum round was introduced in 1934 by Smith & Wesson, kickstarting
most gun tubers, it would take 30 minutes to explain this amount of info.
A lengthened version of the
really gotta stretch out that watch time, you know what I'm saying?
Increased powder load meant a far greater muzzle velocity. The new Magnum caliber was the most powerful handgun cartridge available at the time.
We can go better. We can go greater. We can go higher.
A variety of powerful Magnum calibers followed, including one that would be immortalized in film. 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world.
Blow your head clean off.
The most iconic weapons in cinema's history. But oddly enough, Dirty Harry's Smith & Wesson Model 29 is not identified by name, only by caliber. This is often the case in games too. Manufacturer and model left unspecified, even amidst a full arsenal of realistic weapons. Perhaps
right through the helmet.
Most revolvers share similar appearance. Or perhaps,
you know,
the power of a Magnum cartridge.
Spec Ops: The Line is a game that tells you you're a freak for enjoying violence, and they really put a lot of detail into the amount of violence you can do for some reason.
Chrome-clad or
while they're being really preachy about you liking the violence.
Have an imposing on-screen presence.
Maybe you shouldn't have made the violence feel good.
Such power can often be vulgar. There is an air of refinement about a traditional six-shooter. A certain old-fashioned appeal that harks to a slice of order in a less civilized age. Cowboy, gentleman, or rogue, it doesn't matter who. The revolver always means business. Cut for a different caliber, they might be sidearms, but they're a tier above a typical semi-auto pistol. Games reflect this by amping up the damage. Where a regular pistol might take 3 to 4 shots, a revolver will need only 1 or 2. This makes them a very powerful option. So, of course, they are often saddled with significant disadvantages in the name of balance. Ammunition is often scarce, and the recoil.
I always felt like the
high,
Magnums in Half-Life were a little bit underpowered.
And careful aim.
Like the only time I actively felt good using the Magnum was in Entropy 02.
For those who desire
that
both
thing
power
fucks.
and precision, there is sometimes the option of a scope. Magnified optics extend the revolver's reach and help bridge the gap between sidearm and primary weapon. While an unusual fit for a handgun, it does make sense. With so few rounds and better power retention at a distance, it's important to make shots count. A universal trait of powerful revolvers is their limited capacity.
Far Cry
Usually
4,
6 rounds,
game known for the
sometimes
villain
5,
just being completely
and rarely
correct
more.
about everything.
This reflects the real-life limitation of revolver designs.
When
and also
games make
helps
all
to forge a
revolvers single
particular niche
action
in
to
games.
counteract them, it's cringe.
Fewer rounds
You really
means
want to
more
fan the
frequent
hammer.
reloads, and this can be dangerous.
At least for the lower
as
caliber
inserting
versions.
6 rounds in the midst of combat is a grueling process. Luckily,
Dylan seems
in
like a
most
chill
games,
guy.
The process is performed with the aid of a speed loader, permitting the
Like, it's been a
refreshment of
while
an
since I even
entire
looked at that
cylinder
game.
in
The
one
idea
fell
was
swoop.
that he was like, he
Still
loved your
slower
mom,
than a
right?
semi-auto, the
Like,
time
without
spent
any
reloading
caveats.
is a way to temper the
And by
revolver's
extension,
power.
he loves you, the
This
player,
union of high
right?
damage, limited capacity, and slow reloads make for the perfect high-risk, high-reward
And if you just sit
option.
at the dinner table
A weapon that
and wait for him to
transcends
get back from,
its
like,
traditional
torturing a
era and
domestic
defies those who
terrorist,
would label it obsolete.
he just takes you to the thing that you came to the country to do in the
Doesn't
first
shy
place.
away from unconventional
And then he, like,
theaters.
takes you on his helicopter to
You'll
go
see
hang
six
out.
shooters in space on a far
What a great
future
man.
world, tackling waves of zombies out for blood.
Assuming YouTube does not like
roaming the
talking about
wasteland of
handheld
a
lead
nuclear apocalypse.
throwers. Because I have been censored
It
for
doesn't matter
5
where,
messages.
It doesn't matter when.
Jesus
The only
Christ,
constant
YouTube!
is an awful amount of power, all contained in a pocket-sized package.
What the fuck is wrong with this website's chat system?
6 bullets.
More than enough to kill anything that moves.
Power without question. Authority without asking. A high-caliber option with a long history.
Man, the texture work on that
Celebrated
thing
in
never looked good, did it?
cinema, revered in games. The Magnum Revolver. Wheel gun. Hand cannon. Man stopper. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time.
I appreciate that not being drawn out as anyone else in your position would make it. That's appreciable, to be honest. On to the next one. Swish Films Inc. YouTube poop links on strike.
Films Inc.
Zelda, Duke Onkled is under attack by the evil forces of Ganon. I'm going to send Link to Gamelon to aid him.
No way!
My boy, you're going to Gamelon.
No, I won't go there!
What the hell? You do what I'm saying.
Fuck you, the king! I'm on strike!
Strike. Oh, you sack of shit. You can me on strike.
Is Ocarina of Time the only time you know about Link's exact
This
parentage?
is illegal, you know. See?
Take him away.
Yes, my liege.
How old is Link usually? Do they ever mention it?
Oh, your highness.
Do they ever get an exact age on every iteration of Link?
That old Ganon's boring, and the king is gay.
You want a piece of me, boy.
You want to fight? Fat boy, I'll piss on your head.
Father! Link, stop fighting and talk.
We can talk about mercy.
Yeah, sure thing.
After you ate Duke Onkled, then I'll take you to dinner.
No.
Then I'll get you porn.
No.
How about you ate Duke Onkled, then I'll take you to dinner. Then I'll rub pizza on your dick.
No.
Link, go to Gamelon. For fuck's sake.
No, you bored.
Oh my! The Triforce says
He's 12 in the Wind Waker. Huh.
No, you can go. Die. Your Majesty.
Don't want a 20-minute demonstration where some meathead proves that lead moving at thousands of miles per hour can in fact destroy watermelon.
Defeat Ganon. Go.
It's a wonder those videos do so well, huh? Like, if people really just want the money shot, surely there's faster ways to get that dopamine, right?
How about you have sex with Link?
What?
Screw Link.
You've got to be kidding.
Zelda, screw Link.
No.
Screw Link.
But father...
Enough. Screw Link.
You better fuck fast.
Oh, yeah.
This seems to happen a lot with these specific ones, huh?
See?
No. Make me crouch
It just
down.
keeps going.
Hey, great. Boobies.
Thanks. Link, your cock is friendly.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to hear, I'll be honest. That's really not great.
I'm about to shoot my stuff.
10mm being based.
Going.
No explicit language used.
Link, ate Duke Onkled.
What the fuck is with the way YouTube censors certain shit? I don't get it.
Your balls.
Like, it feels like there's no consistency in when they decide to just not have a thing go through a chat.
Some tools need rubies before they'll work.
Rubies. Great. I guess I'd better get going to Korodai.
Gamelon.
Fuck.
Sex for me.
I managed to conceal this magic lantern to please me.
What an odd planet I have to live on. What a strange turn of events. Next! Mouse is freezing again. From Ginity, how to understand women, all caps.
What do you guys know about women's language? If women say something, a lot of time it means something different. So
if they say sweetie
women's language. Welcome to my class.
in like a seemingly friendly tone to another woman, it means they're calling them a bitch. I know that one.
This is almost universal.
Instant skip,
in women.
skip.
Almost. Not everyone, but most of the women. Number one. Okay, this is an easy one. Okay, when women say, I'm fine, do you think she means she's actually fine?
No one is ever fine
like
when they say I'm fine.
Look a little down.
Chat,
okay?
vote to skip. Chat, I need you to vote to skip. Press 1 in the chat versus 2 in the chat right now. 1 to skip, 2 to not skip. I need you to just do that for me.
A lot of times. It depends on the tone. If you ask like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
1.
That's not fine.
1.
But if you say
1.
like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm just tired.
That's good enough for me.
She's probably fine.
That's good enough for me. Sorry. Nah. Dayback comedy. Stephen Hawking AI core with Sora 2.
Would you look at that? Stephen
Yes!
rolling down the ramp like he's got no fear.
On top of the cage, are you kidding me?
These videos are fucking hilarious and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
No way. And they're hoisting Hawking up to the top rope. It shouldn't even be legal. Stephen Hawking is airborne. Oh my Crossbody for the professor. He wiped out both men. The crowd is losing their mind. Huge right hand over the top. Hawking's hurt. His chair spinning. Uppercut. Elbow. He is pouring it on. Knee right to the face. Hawking's in trouble.
Stop.
That's
the
it.
Fight is over.
He's out cold. He lost one of his legs. Some of AJ versus Cena and Michael Cole was horrifically bad. I feel like Michael Cole being horrifically bad is just like evergreen or anything.
You are exceptional. And you fight like a mind on fire.
Thanks.
Beginning descent.
He's up. Bring him in.
That was exhilarating. Turning left.
They are doing a greatest hits run using their notable opponent's moves.
Gold at last. A beautiful singularity. Well, gravity
I saw some discourse on whether or not it was supposed to be a Deadeye or a fade to black. Doing the spear and Cole attributing it to Roman rather than Edge. That was from the last match, right? That was for... Was that for Cody or was that... No, I think that was for Sammy, wasn't it?
Here comes Hawking, building velocity
Wow,
down
my
the drop,
neck's snapping.
straight into the transition. He's off the lip, full inversion. Look at the altitude, needs to bring it around. Oh,
I didn't even know it could go that far.
He's down. Get back.
Hawking rolling in, run 2. Look at the spade.
Here he goes. He's going.
Coming up the wall.
Full spin. Oh, he's done.
Can't find the sideways. Absolutely. Stephen Hawking dropping in on the giant vert ramp. This is history. Picking up speed, rolling smooth. Look at the setup. Full rotation. Lands it clean. The crowd. Here he goes off the drop in. He's riding up for something big. Off the coping. Oh, sends it. Backflip in the chair. Full rotation. Stick it. Perfect landing. Unbelievable.
I love doing cartoonish nonsense with the wonders of modern technology. Spin!
I may not stand, but I can still bring the moves.
AJ did a James Storm super kick and Cole was screaming about sweet chin.
Oh my God! Look at those tires!
Oh, good battle bots.
Hawking taking the hit on that reinforced wedge, holding his ground. Good, keep pushing. Einstein talking through the driver's station. Look at the Stephen Hawking's paradox coming in hot. Love up to speed, makes contact.
Sparks everywhere.
Never watched a singular second of TNA in his life.
Grindstone trying to angle him.
Green thickened with a touch of
I don't think they're like allowed to mention other names, are they?
Chill it, crown it with fresh berries and a mint leaf. And
Like I distinctly remember when I think it was Pat McCaffrey saying congrats to Sting, he just retired last night. It was a phenomenal career. And then Cole like immediately interrupted him to call like some bullshit that was going on. Ugh. You know, Hunter, all you have to do is call Tony and apologize. That's all you have to do. You just call Tony and fucking apologize. Can't do it. He doesn't have it in him. Jesus. More of LA Base Skippy 260 Abel. Condensing 10 grilled cheese sandwiches into a small cube and eating it in one bite. Human science. I feel like I could do this.
LA Beast here, and the other day, my very thoughtful and awesome sister-in-law, through social media, she sent me a question.
They sometimes say IWGP champion about AJ or Nakamura. Probably because New Japan titles aren't named after New Japan. That would make sense, actually. Shit.
Into the size of a small cube.
That tracks.
And ate the cube in one bite. Would I be full? And immediately I thought to myself, not only do I love grilled cheese sandwiches, but I also love dabbling to disproving and or proving.
I saw people getting like furious at Meltzer, by the way, because apparently he said the AJ match was always planned.
It would be impossible.
And then someone responded with, yeah, because I'll take your word over Michael Cole's.
Through physics, to eat it all in one tiny little bite.
Yes, take the word of the man whose job it is to hype up everything that happens in the company he works for over the man that has nothing at all to gain by lying about anything.
And as you can see, it was a giant mess. So at first I was a little bit discouraged. But when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And quite possibly because I'm a genius who thinks outside the box, what I have done to hopefully make this
I feel like he's jumped through that window at some point.
The first step is I went to the grocery store.
Like, it's framed just right to make me think.
I went home and I lined up all the sandwiches just to see what I was doing.
Dude, I haven't had a grilled cheese in too long.
Once I had the sandwiches ready, even though I'm not the greatest grilled cheese maker of all time.
Chat, did I ever tell you about that thing that Anise taught me?
I made a giant stack of somewhat delicious
Anise taught me something really specific, and it sounded awful the first time I heard it, but I tried it and it was incredible. It's just when you make a grilled cheese, use mayonnaise instead of butter when you're making the grilled cheese. I thought it sounded horrible. I did it once. It was incredible.
I had no idea what that meant, but I went on Amazon. I bought a dehydration machine.
Used to have a door behind him and would bust through it on occasion.
For about 19 straight hours. What it did was take out all the moisture from like the cheese and the bread, and it left me with like a rock solid stack of grilled cheese sandwiches.
Rock solid is right. I don't think you want that.
Like pretty much rock solid. It's like if you left this in the toaster oven, we have like 10 rock solid grilled cheeses. This is like
how many grilled cheese sandwiches could you eat?
Pretty dehydrated.
2 is the most I'd be willing to eat because I actually give a shit about my figure.
Rock solid grilled cheese sandwiches.
I could probably eat like 30 grilled cheese sandwiches.
Blend it down to a fine
like somewhere in the ballpark of 30.
Adding a couple of eggs and then spinning
like if there was a lot of money on the line, I could do that.
I made like grilled cheese
pancake promo, but for grilled cheese.
It's like the texture of cornbread.
This man can eat more grilled cheese than anyone in this arena.
Put that cube into the oven on 300-degree heat for roughly 15 minutes. And sitting here in front of you right here, right now, voila.
I feel like if you just like
somehow geniusly
during the process of making this, if you would just like put
condensed 10
a bit of like cheddar in there, like a quarter of a block of cheddar just in the center, and then put it in,
this
would be much easier on.
Gross and bland and plain as it may look, it smells like a delicious grilled cheese sandwich.
Is this grilled cheese?
My goal is
that is a grilled cheese.
And that is to be the first human being in existence to answer the question of whether or not, if you take 10 grilled cheese sandwiches, compress it using a machine into one bite, and then you ate that one bite, would you be full?
A cube.
And you know what? The fact that I even got 10 grilled cheese sandwiches to look like this is questionable. And the last time I tried,
I don't think it's advised to try and like stretch your jaw around something like that.
So questionable. This thing.
Like if it was half the size that this is, then yeah, you could probably fit that in one jaw.
But I have a strategy here, and I'm gonna do.
Because like I've like dislocated my jaw before trying to eat. I've done it a couple times before. It feels real bad. You know, it feels really shit, and then you just have to reset it yourself, and just like force your own mouth closed. And you just have to sit in place, and it hurts like a motherfucker for like 5 minutes. And then it's like it just never happened.
So I'm going to utilize some water here off to the side. And literally, if I was just sitting here...
The food they eat in movies set in the dystopian future.
I'm going to try and
I need my bread cheese cube.
This is crazy. This is like a rock solid brick of grilled cheese.
It looks like banana.
Smells delicious. All right. You can actually see like on the plate.
I'd eat the food cube.
Without further ado, I am the LA Beast.
Doesn't astronaut food come in a tube?
Freaking inhale.
It's people!
In as few bites
Silent green is people!
Every day. It's very dense. It's very heavy. Start the clock.
Dude, if you're at a point where you need to dunk your food in water for it to become, like, possible to take a bite out of.
Oh my god. It's like cornbread.
I feel like maybe we should make things that are a bit more palatable for situations like that.
Very dry.
Like, since you dehydrated it to get it into the shape, can you rehydrate it after the fact without having to dunk it in water? Like hardtack or sailor crackers. You know, I've never actually had hardtack before.
Whoa.
Is there something better you can use hardtack for? Like gravy? Can I just, like, use gravy for hardtack instead? Because aside from the fact that it's like biting into a brick, it looks pretty good. Instead of tomato soup to rehydrate the grilled cheese cube. You can use hardtack as a weapon. I know. It's a modern day shuriken. LA Beast versus Shoe Nice Nuclear Sludge Eat Off, who is dropping first.
Oh my
god. That is a hard call. When it comes to whose stomach has had it worse, I'm gonna say Beast has probably had it worse, so he probably has a little bit more, like, resistance internally. Has eaten drywall mud. Yeah. But also, like, the consistent eating of cactus without shaving it. Christ, that's a hard call. Gross things during my young days in school. The worst thing I've ever eaten was, like, raw fish egg. Because they gave us that in elementary school one day for no fucking reason, and I just instantly threw up. It's the worst thing I have ever tasted in my life. That is gone now, where he drywall patched over his entire head. Christ. Chocolate milk drenched school pizza before. I think I've seen videos of people doing that, like, middle and high school. That was many years ago.
Interesting. You know what? This is interesting.
Hey, chat, you know what's some weird shit you should not do with food? When I was a child, I poured myself a bowl of Frosted Flakes, and I looked in the fridge and there was no milk. So it's like, oh, I don't want to eat it dry. But we had chocolate milk in the fridge, so I used chocolate milk for my bowl of Frosted Flakes.
Grilled cheese sandwiches faster than I just did.
I took a bite, it was fucking disgusting. It's like I couldn't finish eating it. It was, like, appalling for some reason. I don't know what specifically about it, of combining something like that, that you think would be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
And it turned out to be completely not fine. I don't know what caused that, but it was disgusting.
In my stomach. Yeah, like trying to eat.
I usually put mayo on my pizza.
In a short amount of time. Like,
so you're not of God, then.
Expanding your stomach. 100%.
Was it expired? No. No, it was not.
I feel full. And I also just ate
Halloween pick loaded.
Sandwiches. In the name of human science,
we'll bring up following this
LA
batch.
Beast. I now know the answer.
There's only like 2 or 3 other things in this batch, and then we'll get another
LA
batch.
Beast, I'm full.
We'll have to test this myself. I have still yet to test microwave cereal. The only way I'd be willing to try that is with a chocolate-based cereal.
Fucking crazy.
Chat, when people, like, eat microwave cereal, are they microwaving the bowl of cereal with the milk in it, or are they microwaving milk and then putting it in the cereal?
Whoa.
Because I've never directly looked into it. Only one more in this batch. Weird history food, Pepsi Blue never actually went away.
This is Britney Spears wishing you a happy Pepsi Blue Christmas.
When most people first heard about Pepsi Blue,
Microwave cereal stream being lost media. I remember it as it happened.
Was to assume it was a dopey.
It was very bland, from what I recall the reaction.
Yet 20-odd
just
years
this
later,
is not good.
Pepsi Blue was still
why would
going
anyone
strong.
ever do this?
Well,
like, it's not a negative taste. It's just why the fuck would you ever do this?
And if you're wondering how
I'll have to
you
try
missed
that
it,
for myself at some
stick
point.
around, because today we're going to take a look at
'Cause
how
I've never
Pepsi
had
Blue
Pepsi
never
Blue.
actually went away. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us
I've
know what other
consistently
weird
liked
soft
this
drinks
channel
you
anytime
would
one of
like
you
to
have
hear
had me
about.
watch it.
Okay,
So maybe I should
time
do
to
that.
take a closer look at the soft drink that blew
And then if I do
us
that,
all
then
away.
I'd probably just watch things as they come out instead of like
In May
having
of
them for this
2002,
thing. that
the
you keep
Coca-Cola
posting.
company launched a new variation on its flagship product called Vanilla Coke. The company was still wiping egg off
Pepsi
its
Blue is
face
the
after
parallel of
old
New Coke, right?
debacle of the 80s.
I don't know.
But the new
It
soda
said
was
berry
long in the
taste on the
works.
bottle a minute
Its
ago.
Development was no secret to Coke's biggest competitor, Pepsi. That being the case, Pepsi started working to develop a competing product, which it sneakily aimed to have on the shelves one single day before Coke released its new product. And that new Pepsi flavor turned out to be Pepsi Blue. It's not entirely clear why Pepsi thought Pepsi Blue would act as a competitor to Vanilla Coke. The latter drink already had a long history dating back to the 1940s, when soda jerks would make their own versions by mixing vanilla flavoring in with the Coke syrup. You'd think Pepsi would have just released a vanilla-flavored variant of its own flagship soda, but instead they went with a hyper-sweet, super syrupy, berry-flavored formula that most people thought looked like Windex. It was an especially weird choice given that only a few years earlier, Pepsi had totally screwed the pooch with the release of Crystal Pepsi, another cola variant that relied
Don't you
on
besmirch the
weird
name of
coloring
Crystal
gimmick.
Pepsi, you son of a
After that
bitch.
highly public disaster, you'd think the company would stay away from coloring gimmicks like its livelihood depended on it. But it turns out, not so much. In all fairness, the reason Pepsi went that way
Windex
again
does
seemed
look
to be
tasty.
due to the phenomenal success
The
of
same
Mountain
energy
Dew
as
Code
people
Red.
that say the
Mountain Dew,
the
in
Tide
case you
Pod
didn't
looks
know,
delicious.
is owned by Pepsi.
Looks
And in
flavorful.
2001, they introduced
Hey
the
kids, you remember
cherry-flavored
Tide
Code
Pod,
Red,
Chan?
which was the first
You
time
remember?
the brand ever
You remember when
introduced a
people
flavor
gajinked
variant other
the
than
Tide
original.
Pod into
Bright
like a
Red Cola,
fuckable looking
which was
anime girl?
possibly
You
designed to
remember?
mimic the
I
Dayglow
remember.
tones of Gatorade, was originally set to be called Wild Cherry Mountain Dew. But the odds being what they
I haven't had
were,
Code
the
Red
name
since
was
I was a
changed after
child.
failing to test well with urban and ethnic
I never
focus
see it
groups.
anywhere.
Those groups apparently liked the sound of Code Red, though, and the drink became a huge success. So huge that just a year after its release, it was already one of the top 3 selling soft drinks in convenience stores. So when Pepsi went looking for a name for their new berry-flavored
Oddly
cola,
enough, I think the
wanted
Gamer
something
Fuel
that would
flavor they
taste
put
the
out
same
when
way.
Halo
And
3
the
was
bright
around to
blue cola
release.
named Pepsi Blue
That was
seemed to
probably
fit the
like
bill,
my
or
favorite
so they
flavor of
thought.
Mountain Dew I've had. But then that just kind of went away.
According to the marketing blitz that
I know they
accompanied
brought
its
back
release,
Gamer Fuel
Pepsi
for
Blue
like
is a
the
berry
WoW
cola
movie, I
fusion.
think.
They never quite
But I
said
don't
which
know if it was
berries
the same
were being
flavor.
used
I
in
didn't
the
try
cola,
it.
But most consumers seem to think it tasted like blueberries and or raspberries. Some, however, felt it more closely resembled the taste of cotton candy, with a berry-like aftertaste, which is probably because Pepsi Blue is way sweeter than normal cola. Even Pepsi, which is generally perceived as being sweeter than Coke to begin with. Pepsi, for the record, had started experimenting with such unusual flavors about a
They had it
decade
before
earlier.
the movie?
In 1991, for example, the company briefly released what it called the Pepsi Wild Bunch line, which included flavors like
I don't know why
Raging
companies do
Raspberry,
this thing where they have
Strawberry
like
Burst,
a
and
limited
Tropical
time
Chill.
thing,
The idea
like
was to
variation
test
of their
market them
product
and see how the public
that's like
responded.
phenomenally
But since none of
successful
them
and
ever
everyone
went
loves it
national,
and it's
we'll
incredible
hazard a guess
PR,
that the
and then they just say,
response wasn't
okay,
quite
it's
what the
gone now.
company hoped, but they weren't about to give up either. 1996
And decided not
saw
to
the
give
brief
Alliance
test
the blue
release
flavor.
of the
What the
coffee
fuck were they
flavored
thinking?
Pepsi Kona, and 1996 saw the test release of the sugary Pepsi Candy, but neither of those seemed to hit
Cherry
with the
citrus
general
is my
public
favorite.
either. The company
I remember it being
registered
pretty
its first
fantastic.
alternative flavor win in 2000 with the release of Pepsi Twist, which was basically
Ozzy.
just regular Pepsi. but with a little lemon flavoring thrown in.
I've never been
wasn't
big on
exactly
lemon.
revolutionary,
It's
but
like
it
a
did well
flavor
enough to
additive.
stay on the market until 2006. And the company would keep at it even after the release of Pepsi Blue. In 2003, they outright carbon copied Coke's idea.
You ever
and
tried
released
Gamer Subs?
Pepsi Vanilla.
The only one of
And in
those things I've
2004,
ever
they
tried
released
was
Pepsi
Rogue
Lime.
Energy.
Neither were the
That was
kind
because
of
Arissa
extreme
had a
product
sponsorship.
that
It was
Pepsi
like,
Blue
yeah,
was
I'll
supposed to
try
be.
that.
But it didn't matter.
Yeah, I liked
Neither
it.
of them lasted more than
Pretty
2
alright.
years before being
I can fuck with that.
discontinued. Anyway, the flavor of Pepsi Blue was apparently the
So
end
I'm just
result
gonna
of
assume
9
that
months
entire
taste testing,
category of
during which
beverages
over
from
100
every
potential
company taste
variations were
exactly
tried
the
out.
same.
The goal was to find
And
a
just
taste
assume, yeah,
profile
they're
that would
fine.
appeal to kids.
Like a 7,
who are
7.5.
apparently bored by the taste of normal colas. To that end, actual, factual teenagers were included in the development process.
G Fuel
and the
still a thing?
results pretty much speak for themselves.
I never look into these things.
Of
Iron
course,
Brew
sodas
initially
don't
temporarily
literally
bring
speak for
back the drink with the
themselves.
original
So when it
recipe
came
in
to marketing the
2019,
new brand,
but I still
Pepsi
see it
pulled
in
out all
shops, so
the
I guess
stops.
it's here to stay.
For starters, they produced a series of commercials starring Britney Spears, who was arguably the world's biggest pop star at the time. They also went hog wild with product placements in the movies, and that's why Pepsi Blue turns up in films
yes,
like
Bill
Garfield,
Murray
the movie,
Garfield.
and The Italian Job. They even started sponsoring sporting events like X Games and India's 2003
Went out of
Cricket
business
Cup,
this year?
and
How
secured
timely.
endorsements from the New York Mets, as well as New England Patriots field goal kicker Adam Vinatieri.
Maybe G Fuel
Now,
would've stuck
all
around
that
if it
was
slapped some
pretty par
anime
for the
titties on their
course when it
packaging.
came to marketing in the early aughts. But what wasn't was the
The solution to
internet.
business
Back in
seems
those
to
days, there wasn't
universally be
anything
slap
quite
some
like the
anime
online
titties on it.
influencer marketing of today. Platforms
That
like
seems to just,
TikTok,
like, bring
Instagram,
success to
and
every
YouTube
product you put out.
Didn't exist yet, and the word influencer, despite dating all the way back to the 14th century, was so uncommon.
I'm not
it wouldn't even
complaining.
be added to the dictionary until
I'm
2019.
not complaining at all.
But that wasn't going to stop Pepsi. To promote Pepsi Blue, they hired a whole team to create fake profiles. for
Nothing
the
has been
online
made worse by
platforms
having
that did
attractive
exist at the
characters.
time. And then
Absolutely.
use those fake profiles to rave about how awesome Pepsi Blue was.
Nowadays,
It
every
was a
AAA
great
game, the
idea,
fucking women they
except
put in
for
it
one
look like
problem.
feet.
The posts were
Not
so
good
badly
feet
written that
either, like a
everyone saw
dry
what they
riverbed
were.
feet.
The campaign
You know what I'm saying?
backfired. Egregiously.
Like, not the kind of
And
thing
rather
Thief
than
looks at.
establishing a reputation as the cool new drink everyone
Like the
wanted
mob
to
boss
try,
villain in
Pepsi
Spun-
Blue
in,
became a
Courage.
punchline about corporations that try too hard.
I can't remember
Not
that guy's
helping at all
name.
was the fact that Pepsi Blue was colored with a dye called Blue Number 1, also known
Because
as
of my
Brilliant
affiliation with the
Blue. If that
Apartment
doesn't ring a
X
bell,
channel.
It's a dye which, at the time, was derived from coal tar and wound up being banned in a number of European countries due to health concerns.
Not too
Brilliant
fond of
Blue
Europe.
dye is made from different stuff today, but a number of U.S. states are, as of 2025, still looking at banning it. Long story short, Pepsi
You know, you don't
Blue
have to
was
put
a
the
mega
food
flop.
coloring things.
Teens liked it well enough, but adults hated
You really
its
don't.
aggressively sweet taste. And since adults are usually the ones with the money to spend, things didn't go so hot. Pepsi Blue sold 17 million cases in 2002, even though it debuted halfway through the year. And then it sold just 5 million cases in all of 2003. Surprising no one, it was mostly discontinued in 2004. Pepsi Blue might seem like a goofy idea in retrospect, but the idea that consumers might be down for a fluorescently colored beverage didn't exactly come out of nowhere. As we said earlier, Pepsi already had a hit with Mountain Dew Code Red, and Gatorade had been popular for quite a while. In fact, vibrantly colored beverages had been something of a fad since Coke introduced Fruitopia through its Minute Maid brand back in 1994.
I haven't had a
Colorful
Minute Maid since
fruit
middle
drinks
school.
became an overnight success, and before anyone knew what was going on, Fruitopia vending machines became a common sight in schools and on college campuses. It was even available at McDonald's soda fountains. The success of Fruitopia quickly led to copycat brands like Sobe, which popped up in 1996 and in 2000 was sold to, wait for it, Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yes, the soft drink manufacturer, which seemed to get all of its ideas from its #1 competitor, wanted in on the day-glow beverage fad pretty badly. The purchase of Sobe was the first step in that
Great
direction.
Lizards.
And the introduction
8.
of Code Red
Pretty
was
good.
the second. Both of those moves
They do
went
a
really
dance.
well. So the introduction of Pepsi Blue must have seemed like a surefire winner. Unfortunately for Pepsi, their timing was a little less than ideal. With the dawn of the new millennium,
That
energy
wasn't
drinks like
CGI.
Red Bull,
Fruitopia really
Rockstar,
does
and
that to
Monster
lizards.
stole the spotlight, and the Crayola-colored fruit drinks of the late 90s began to lose favor. Sales of Fruitopia started to lag towards
Hey
the
kids,
end of the
remember Mellow
1990s,
Yellow? I
and by
remember. I
2003,
remember Ernest
the brand
advertising
was
it to me.
struggling so badly that Coke
I miss
decided
that,
to
man.
phase it out in the U.S. Sales of Sobe also started flagging around the same time. And while Pepsi never discontinued it entirely, they did severely limit its availability and pretty much stopped marketing it in any meaningful way. The success of Code Red clearly gave the company
Major
hope that
melon
bright,
fucks,
pretty
dude.
colors were
If you
still
haven't tried
key to
the
selling drinks
melon
to younger
Mountain Dew
consumers.
flavor, give it a
But
shot.
that
It's great.
apparently was not the case. Pepsi Blue would never put the company in the black. If you lived in the US or Canada in 2004, you might have thought that Pepsi Blue was dead and buried. But the truth is, the soft drink was only actually discontinued in a handful of countries. Turns out, the unusual soda had developed a cult following in a bunch of other markets, where it still continues to exist to this day. Those markets are located in various parts of Europe, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia. It also remains especially popular in the Philippines, where it was rebranded as Pepsi Pinas.
Pepsi Pinas.
Penis.
For those of you that have a sense of humor like an 11-year-old,
Yes!
that does sound a lot like a certain part of the male anatomy. But in the Tagalog language, which is what they speak in the Philippines, it's just a slang word that's short for the name of the country. Pepsi also briefly brought Pepsi Blue back to supermarkets in the US in 2021. According to the company, passionate Pepsi Blue fans have been clamoring for the return of their beloved berry cola for years. So Pepsi decided to oblige them. We're unaware of any future plans to do it again, but they're clearly susceptible to pressure from consumers. So if you're one of those passionate fans, make your voice heard. And who knows, sooner or later, Pepsi might help you chase away the blues with a little Pepsi Blue. So what do you think? And were you ever a fan of Pepsi Blue? Let us
Never
know
had
in
it.
the comments
Not
below.
once.
While you're at it,
Always seemed
check
interesting.
out some of these other videos from Weird History.
Huh. All right, I'll get one last batch. I will fetch the final batch from the Slop additives. Soon it will be this way. Be upon thine head. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be some real power, it is. And you go. And then you go. Yeah, that seems pretty good. That'll be a good one, I think. That goes right there. And then grab one of these. This will all go well, we promise. Everything will be fine. Everything will all just work out. This will be pretty okay. This will be alright. This will be decent. This will be a pretty alright one. That'll be decent. That'll be okay. And let's grab this one, why not? That should be enough to get us past the mark, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. That'll be pretty alright, I think. Okay. Yep. Greenthmac. Half-Life Rise and Shine Episode 3 update. We've got hostiles. Show me what weird shit you got in store for me. Being off sleep schedule, that'll happen. Is this a thing where you can actively rescue survivors? And they will follow you through the whole level? You know, forcing that door open would be really convenient. It really saves you a lot of time.
What a great start. Well, at least we got access to the security room. Give me a moment. I think I can see most of the area. Wait, are those...
Expands the story, even shows POVs of other games. Huh.
One group explores the area and locates the military. The rest stays here to monitor from the security room, just in case something goes wrong. Good idea.
What the hell's that on the... who's that guy? Who's that young-looking guy right there with, like, the widow peak?
Fine by me. Team A, raise your hands. I know the security room. It has a speaker in each zone all around the area. I can use it to communicate and provide support. Plus, at least one of us needs to stay behind and cover the others.
In that case, leave me and go into the room. can stand on my own.
Just be careful, okay?
All right, Reset. Lead the way, Dr. Freeman.
Long-term booking. Sudden and fast acts of cruelty. Just tickle me just right. Jesus God. My God, you get one like out of that. Jeez, that was great. Next, Dead Graphics, Sonic EXE versus Metal Sonic. Huh. You know, Sonic EXE is, like, objectively fucking terrible. Being, like, a fighting game character is pretty cool, though, for things like this. Fuck this day up, Metal! They made Sonic EXE good. You can make anything good if you just use it for, like, a fighting animation. Why doesn't Eggman just spit on him? I like this dedicated running bit everyone does, where anytime someone puts either Metal Sonic or Mecha Sonic into like an animation like this, they just use lines from Cooler.
That power already belongs to me!
Really just fuck his day up. That was quite well done. This is also a good cover of this track. Huh. Palatable, I would say. Downright decent. Next! WoW's Darkest Secret. House Hexagon. Ban anybody posting spoilers for 700 years. Is this gonna be about like the children cult thing in that one town? Where like the kids like stand around in a pentagram shape?
I'm gonna start this off by saying whatever the hell you do, do not look in the comment section below.
Way ahead of you.
I don't usually get many, if any, comments on my productions. The ones that are there will no doubt spoil what is to come. So go into full screen mode and let me show you this. Because
Way ahead
I
of you.
promise you, it's gonna blow your mind. I believe I've made a WoW discovery that literally no one else has ever found. No matter how much I try to look it up, there's never any results.
Kids,
No
remember
DuckDuck
Ask Jeeves?
searches, no YouTube
Remember Yahoo
videos,
Answers?
Nothing. And that's pretty damn surprising, considering this is a game from 2004 that we're talking about here.
God, it has been that
This
long,
is
Jesus
the vanilla
fucking
WoW
Christ.
world map. As you can see, there's only 2 continents, Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. Let me ask you a question. Out of all the zones in these 2 continents, which one is the most forgettable?
Everything
I'll give you a few
after
seconds to
Burning
think about it.
Crusade.
Alright, time's up. I imagine that the vast majority of people probably answered with Desolus, Silithus, Alterac Mountains, Deadwind Pass, you know, the usual suspects. But there's one zone in Vanilla WoW that literally everyone knows about, but is almost universally forgotten. And that zone is Stone Talon Mountains. Stone Talon Mountains is a contested zone that shares a border with the Barrens and Desolus. The fact that it's a contested zone is quite interesting in of itself, as despite there being many low-level Horde quests available here, for Alliance players, there's almost nothing at all. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that if you're an Alliance main like me, you've probably never even been here before. The zone itself has an extremely unusual design, and there really is nothing else like it in the game. It's essentially one giant valley that connects to 3 different open chasms that are completely different to one another. Due to the zone's odd layout and frustrating quests, even many Horde players tend to skip it entirely when leveling. But I'm not here to talk about the zone or even its quests, but
Things are
something
always
much,
bizarre.
much weirder. We all know that WoW has a day-night cycle that is in sync with the server's time zone.
Yeah.
If it's daytime in real life, then it will be daytime in game too. If it's nighttime in real life, then it will be
I
nighttime
forget what the
in
exact
game
times
too.
were.
A zone's atmosphere can change significantly
like
depending
8
on
to
whether
8,
it's day
maybe?
or night, but this is true especially for Stone Talon Mountains. During the day, Stone Talon Mountains just looks and feels like a pretty typical looking place. A bit of trees here, a bit of grass there, but at night, this zone, and the way it feels to be in it, almost completely
This is prime
changes.
alien abduction
From
territory.
the hours of midnight to 5 AM, music no longer plays in the zone. Instead, all you can hear is this strange wind ambience that sounds really
Minecraft originally
freaky.
wanted to do that as well. I think B3313 does that to some extent,
What's
doesn't it?
weirder is that at night, the entire zone has this creepy red tint to it for seemingly no reason, and there's a ton of fog that limits how far you can see. Not sure if you can really notice it here, but the difference when it's daytime is really, well, night and day. Now obviously when I first discovered this, I was confused just as much as you probably are. Why is it like this? No other zone has effects
You know
like
how
these at
WoW
night.
has like very
It just
specific
seems
Easter eggs, like you can find the
weird.
Kraken or like the Loch Ness
And
Monster
again,
out there?
no matter
Did they
how much
ever
I
put
looked
like a
into it,
UFO you
no
can
one had
find?
an answer. But that's not even why I'm making this, because yeah, it's weird, but it could just be some sort of attempt at atmospheric immersion. No, I'm making this because of a strange phenomenon that kept happening to my character here. If you know
Likely.
me, then you'll know that I'm pretty much nocturnal, as in seriously nocturnal.
You and me
I'm
both,
always
man.
up at night and in the early hours of the morning because that's just how I like it. As a result, whenever I play WoW, it's always in the dark. That's how I noticed how weird Stone Talon Mountains was in the first place. In classic WoW, I had an orc warrior called Warzerk that I would occasionally level up to see what the Horde side of the game was like. Just a way to relax and see what I would have otherwise missed out on.
You know,
on my
odd
Alliance
tangent,
meet.
I always like
Stone
really
Talon
liked
Mountains
the idea
was
of
one
like
the
an
zones I
orc
ended up
samurai.
leveling
See how many times I can say
remember
like
being
in a
taken
sentence, by the
aback
way.
at what a
Take a
weird,
shot every time.
Almost psychedelic dreamscape.
Something
the zone
about that
felt
really
like.
just speaks to
It
me on like a
reminded me of
personal level.
somewhere where a nightmare
Like,
would
God,
take
that's
place.
fucking.
But again, I didn't think anything of it until this happened. This is a screenshot I took at 2:14 AM on the 20th of October 2020.
You just dropped dead?
I'm in the Windshear Crag part of the zone, and as you can see, my character is dead. You're probably thinking that a mob must have got me or something, but no. The reason I took this screenshot is because my character just died, instantly, for no reason whatsoever. I was just running around doing some quest when he just dropped dead. At first I thought that maybe a high-level rogue had got me, then vanished or something, but I didn't see any. And according to my combat log, nothing happened. He just died. I kept this screenshot because I thought I would put it in a future production of mine, as at the time there was a lot of uproar about how badly Blizzard maintained classic WoW, with there being a ton of bots and gold sellers flying around.
No
I figured it wouldn't
shit.
be out of the ordinary for there to be bugs like this too, as, after all, this is Blizzard we're talking about here. Either way, I rezzed up and carried on with my questing before heading off for the night. 24 hours later, and I am, once again, questing in the Windshear Crag. Everything was going smoothly, until once again, bam. It happened again. Instant death, no combat log, just dead. I had never experienced anything quite like this. I mean,
Is
yeah,
this something
WoW
built
could
into
be
this specific
buggy,
area's
but it's
code by
never been
accident that
this
just
bad.
kills
I
anything that's
looked back at
considered
the
alive?
screenshot I took the night before
At,
and
like,
noticed
one
something
specific
really
minute?
unusual. The time of death on both shots was exactly the same, 2:14 a.m. That was just way too much of a coincidence.
Or it's just they left
to
like a
ignore.
kill box in the
I tried
game
to
by
make
mistake.
a post on r/classic.wow to ask if anyone knew what kept happening to my character, but it got removed, and then I was banned for no reason.
I fucking hate Reddit so
yeah,
goddamn
pretty
much we need to burn it to the
I decided
ground,
that
holy
this was
god.
way too much of a coincidence to ignore. So, I conjured a plan. The next night, at 2:14 a.m., I would have my recorder on, just in case my character died again, so that I would have proof of this weird bug in action. The following is what I captured.
I was there.
Nothing.
Huh.
I waited around for a few minutes longer, but it just wasn't happening. I figured that it really must have been just a weird coincidence.
Same spot, too, right?
Feeling disappointed, I turned off my recorder and carried on questing. But then, boom.
Jesus Christ, it's watching you.
This time at 2:47 a.m. 3 deaths in a row on 3 different days. But why was this one at a different time than the others? The only difference I noticed between the last shot and the first 2 is that on the last one, I was at the Charred Vale part of the zone, whereas with the first 2, I was in the Windshear Crag.
Huh.
So, I had another idea. What if I went to the Windshear Crag at 2:14 a.m. and had my recorder on then instead? Maybe there, it would happen again. So, once again, I set my character there and waited.
The bitch is you have to wait a full day for this. Ah!
Holy shit. I now had video evidence of this so-called bug in action. But honestly, at this point, I was starting to think there has to be something more to this. Out of curiosity, I wondered that if I went to the Charred Vale at 2:47 again, if it would happen there too. Sure enough, it did.
A sudden heart attack.
2:14 a.m. in the Windshear Crag and 2:47 a.m. in the Charred Vale. I didn't know what it was. But
You know
for
how
some
you know Sword
reason,
Art
at
Online
those
is completely
times,
full of
my
shit? It's because
character
dumb
would
shit like this
always
doesn't
just
happen in an
drop dead.
MMO like that.
It was as if there was an invisible GM playing some sort of practical joke or something like that. But we're not done yet. At the very top of the zone lies the third chasm, the Stone Talon Peak. A very leafy and soothing place compared to the other 2. I wondered if the weird deaths occurred there too. Sure enough, they did. 2:28 a.m. I tested this again the next day, and it happened yet again. 2:14 a.m. in the Windshear Crag, 2:47 a.m. in the Charred Vale, 2:28 in the Stone Talon Peak. Every night, at those times, my character would die without failure or explanation. It would never happen in the valley part of the zone, only in the chasms at those exact times. This wasn't a coincidence at this point. I tried to see if anyone else
Why does it
was in
keep
the zone at
snapping
the
my
same
neck
time
when I
as me,
like
but literally
put my
no one
hand on my
ever was.
chin?
Not too surprising, as this character is on Dragonfang, which is, yeah, a very dead server to say the least. None of my friends still played, so I couldn't exactly ask them to get a subscription just to test this. And whenever I would ask other people to come to Stone Talon Mountains so that I could watch them drop dead, they were surprisingly uncooperative. I decided to do some hardcore research to see if anyone else had noticed this, scrubbing almost the entire internet for even a nugget of information. But alas, nothing.
Chat, you ever Google something and go to the
nothing.
end of the search results
Except
and
that
then
2
you
years
realize
ago,
like
back when
the number
Classic
of search
WoW
results it says
an
there
old
are
Blizzard
is like
developer who
complete
had long
bullshit?
since left the company,
And it's
Mike
just
Cron,
making up
did a
numbers,
Q&A
and there's
on the
only like
r/WoW subreddit,
maybe
whereby
30
he answered
pages of
people's
information.
questions about what it was like developing the vanilla game. In his opening remarks, he mentioned that he was behind zones such as Desolus, Ferrelas, Ashenvale, and Stone Talon Mountains. Despite the Q&A being 2 years ago now, I noticed that Mike was very active on Reddit, albeit almost
That's always a bad
posting
sign.
about non-WoW related stuff. Now, I'm not usually one to pry, but man, if anyone knew what was going on here, it would be this guy. And I'm in way too
Filtered
deep
out the
to
dead
quit
results
now.
for you, it's
I
fine.
just had to
I feel
ask.
like they're trying to hide something from me.
No, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea how to open a conversation with a guy who I don't know, and who doesn't know me. I'm not a journalist, I'm a WoW player. By nature, I'm very antisocial and tend not to talk to
Hello,
people
Mike.
unless they
Sorry to
talk
bother
me.
you.
But this guy
I
wasn't
was
just gonna talk to me
playing
by
so-and-so
himself,
on
so
such
I
and
decided to
such,
try to play
and
it
this
cool.
weird thing
Didn't want to
happened,
come off as too
and I've been
pushy
looking
or
for
anything like that.
information, and I found
So I
out you
said,
worked on this
"Hey
part of the
there,
map.
is it
Do
true
you have
worked
any
on
idea
vanilla
what this
WoW
thing
back
is?"
in the day?" Honestly, I didn't expect to get an answer, but shockingly enough, he responded almost instantly. Yup. Well, it's better than nothing, I guess. The ice was broken. I just had a question about one of the zones. Nothing serious, just some trivia that I wondered if you could answer. 2 minutes later, shoot. Talkative guy. I've been on Classic WoW recently and leveling up in Stone Talon Mountains. I've noticed that for some reason, my character dies at set times in the early hours of the morning for seemingly no reason. I know it sounds bonkers, but do you have any idea why that is? It's been driving me crazy for days now. After I asked this, the guy just went completely silent. I'll be honest, I was pretty pissed off. If anyone would know why, it would be this guy, and he just bailed on me for no reason. I figured that all hope was lost and that I'd never know what was behind this, and with my limited audience, there was no way I could make a big enough deal out of it to try to get people to figure it out. So, case closed, I guess.
Until.
Or so I thought. I am not joking with you. 10 months
Jesus
later,
Christ!
I get another message from Mike. The message literally just said, "The SoCal Lady Killer." I'm like, what? No response. Guy just goes completely quiet again. The SoCal Lady Killer?
South California.
What the heck was that? I thought that perhaps he had meant to message someone else and this was sent to me by accident. Decided to look into it and this is what came up. The SoCal Lady Killer is the nickname given to an unidentified serial killer who is believed to be behind the murder of 3 women in Southern California throughout the years of 1995
Different times of death.
and 1996. Though there is no direct evidence that links the 3 murders together, the modus operandi of the killer was seemingly identical in all of the cases.
This
with
would
the
be like a
victims'
really
bodies being
specific
mutilated
out there
in an
Easter
almost
egg to put in
identical
your video
fashion
game.
each time. The 3 women, all of which were prostitutes, were believed to be lured to a secluded area by the killer, whereby they were then murdered. Again, I had no idea what this had to do with what I asked.
GTA
Until
strats for getting your money
I
back.
read this part. The first victim was 28-year-old Whitney Fangson. On the 2nd of August 1995, her body was found on the outskirts of the Wind Shear Lumber Mill. Police reports state that she was officially declared dead at 2:14 a.m. 4 months later, on the 5th of December 1995, 25-year-old Sophie Riven was found in an almost identical state at a hotel room in the nearby village of Los Chared. Police reports state that she was declared dead at 2:47 a.m. The third and final victim was 32-year-old Amy Rassan, who 2 months later, on the 17th of February 1996, was found dead by climbers at the base of Sokol Peak. Police reports state that she was declared dead
Ghost
at
kills again in
2:28
MMO.
a.m. Wind Shear Lumber Mill was
Chat,
the
you know that whole
basis
Ghost in the
for Wind
Machine
Shear
thing
Crag.
that people like to do?
Chared was the basis.
You think the human
Chared
soul
Vale.
can haunt an MMO?
Sokol
Like if you
Peak
can haunt like a
was the
shitty copy of
basis
Zelda?
for Stone Talon Peak. In addition, the timing of the victims' deaths correlate exactly with the timing of my characters. The mystery had been solved. The seemingly random deaths are an Easter egg referencing the SoCal Lady Killer. But That's a pretty weird Easter egg.
Well,
Don't you think? I went to ask Mike what on earth made him want to add that in the game. But again, I got no response. But this time, it was different.
Did the SoCal
You see, in the
Lady
past
Killer
when I
work
was
for
blank,
Blizzard?
Mike was still actively
Anything's
using Reddit
possible.
obsessively on a daily basis. But ever since that last message, he had stopped
into that sort of thing.
completely. Not many people know this, but the state of California
Look,
actually
man.
has an online public database of all its residents that states basic
The in-game
information
shop isn't
about
gonna
them,
run itself.
such as their criminal record, driving viability, and yes, whether they are dead or alive. Well, you're never gonna believe what I found. Michael John Crond, 54, death by suicide, on the 13th of August 2021, the exact same day that he last messaged me. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Crond, World of Warcraft developer from 2004 to 2006, was the SoCal Lady Killer. Stone Talon Mountains, a zone which he designed, is nothing more than a direct reference to the crimes he committed 10 years prior to joining Blizzard. It is an open mockery of his victims, hiding the truth in plain sight while taking great pleasure in how no one else can see it. Typical serial killer behavior. But if you aren't convinced yet, then let me show you this.
Okay,
Every
hit me.
single chasm has a rare mob that is a direct reference to one of the victims. Whitney Fangson died outside of the Windshear lumber mill. Meanwhile, in the Windshear Crag, there's an NPC called Taskmaster Whipfang. Sophie Riven died in Lost Charred. Meanwhile, in the Charred Vale, there's an NPC called Sister Riven. Amy Rassan died on the base of Sokol Peak. Meanwhile, in the Stone Talon Peak, there's an NPC called Sentinel Amarasa.
You know, this would only be like the
cherry on
sixth
top.
worst thing about
In the
Blizzard.
only safe place in the entire zone, the Sunrock Retreat, is an NPC called Crond. Crond, the Butcher. So the question you're probably asking yourself is, why? Why would he commit suicide? Well, the answer becomes crystal clear if we go back to the SoCal Lady Killer's wiki page. It reads, after being a cold case for over 25 years, on the 2nd of August 2021, LAPD Police Chief Ed Jens announced
he
that
worked
the
for
SoCal
Blizzard.
Lady Killer case
True.
had been reopened due to advances in forensic technology that may help finally bring the victims some justice. Mike Crond
Send this to my
knew
DM.
that he
I
was
want to
about
send
be
it to a
found
niece
out.
at some point. It's in the
Thus,
goddamn
he ended
reaction
his own
slop
life
thread.
as to escape justice.
You know where
But
to find
folks,
it.
Do you want to know the worst part about all of this? The worst part is, I just made all that up. That's right.
Really think
Mike
people would do
Crond
that?
is not a serial killer.
Just go on the internet
In
and
fact,
tell lies?
Mike Crond isn't even real. Hell, his picture isn't even real. It was generated by an AI.
The
There's
machine
no
learning
such thing as
algorithm!
the SoCal Lady Killer, and my character didn't even die randomly in the Stone Talon Mountains. I just got a friend of mine to use the neutral auction house to trade me a dark rune. Hell, even the character isn't even the same. So, the question you must be asking is, why?
I love
Why
Halloween
did I make
pranks.
up this entire story? Well, you see, it's simple. If I can come up with an interesting and somewhat believable story that grips people enough to keep them listening for 20 minutes, about the pissing Stone Talon Mountains no less, then Blizzard has no excuse to not write a good story of their own. Especially,
It's almost
with their
like they're really
ridiculously
lazy and
overpaid
posting on
writing
things
team
for the last
at their
2
disposal.
decades or something.
Dear WoW Lore Team, get it together, you absolute amateurs.
You guys have phones? What a pleasant watch through. This is very gay. You're gay! And you sleep with your mother. Veckers, Zach Hadel's Psychic Pebbles. First animation.
It's me, Mario.
Thank you, little Zachary. My boy. Top 5 videos ever. Pretty great. Pretty fantastic. Hyorin Jutsu. What if Omni-Man versus Homelander sprite animation? I see this going exactly one way. Game-changing use in the format. Very well made. Why is Homelander killing Nolan's family like a consistent thing whenever people make them fight things? What did you think was gonna happen, dipshit? Man, the city sure turned into, like, dystopian GT city. Yeah, that's about right. I don't think he will. You know, we'll start slurping the compound V off the floor? Is that what you're doing? Just gonna start licking the pavement? I really don't think that's gonna be, like, game-changing difference. You doing an Omega Beam thing now? Is that what you're doing? Congratulations! You went from I can't feel this at all to yeah, I can feel this a bit. Is Homelander, like, consistently the dumbest motherfucker? Was it Birkin that mutates and just starts chomping on G-Virus containers, or am I thinking of something else? I think it's Birkin, yeah. What was the actual timeline of events? Does he inject himself after they shoot him? Because I think he injects himself once, and then he goes after Hunk Squad, and then I think he eats one of the samples they collect. And then the rats get to the others. Dude, you are stupid. Well, time to start making another one. I doubt Omni-Man could beat Raditz. He could probably take Raditz. I think Nolan caps out in power around Great Ape Vegeta. Off he goes to fuck a bug woman. Alright, that's a bit of a pull. We're doing this? Yeah, we're doing this. This guy's really good at sprite animation. Know that? Real proper. That golden cell in Super Saiyan 4 Blue. It's pretty hype. Huh. That's pretty alright. That's decent. Alright, let's finish off on this. Tom Christie. Skeletor reveals the Nintendo Switch 2.
We here at Nintendo are excited to announce the next step in our company's challenge to cripple your bank accounts. We're overflowing
Who's Thrag comparable to?
Enthusiasm to reveal our brand new
Probably like Vegeta on Namek, like when he kills Monster, Zarbon. That's,
but what we do
I forget
is
Zarbon.
the ability to play catch up with our competitors and strike whilst the iron is frozen. Because I'm delighted to share with all of you our revolutionary new feature, Group Chat. Fuck me till I fart. This is the future. Please, take a look.
Built-in really shitty audio quality.
We here at Nintendo are proud to showcase Game Chat, our brand new party feature.
Freaky alien genotype. I understood that reference.
Has been doing for the last 2 decades. Here you'll be able to have amazing conversations.
They would never make that joke these days. Yeah, they got pussy-fied as that show went on.
Wow, the memories.
And they got a little bit too big for their boots and started taking themselves too seriously.
Allowing you to FaceTime your friends like it's a Zoom call during COVID.
I used to nut in my socks until the crust smelled sweet.
You can even share your game screen up to 360p and 5 frames per century. We've designed it this way to ensure that every stream will have the video quality of an ISIS beheading. Now you might say to yourself, why the fuck would I pay for any of this shit when
Excellent question.
The Switch 2 might seem overwhelming to you peasants with all these groundbreaking advancements. That's why we're including a tech demo which will showcase key information.
Don't they make you pay for this?
Wait a fucking paid tech demo? What? Guys, a fucking paid tech demo in the year 2025? What? But Astro... Oh, okay, I'm reading...
You know, when I found out Reggie, like, had to fight for them to include Wii Sports as, like, a package deal for when you bought a new Wii, that really put a lot of things into perspective.
Baby, all these great games and more can be yours for the low price.
And get banned for swearing and saying slurs in the Switch 2 online. Two very comparable things.
$90 for the physical. That's right.
Jesus fucking
We're charging you $10 extra for a fucking plastic case. GTA 6 will now cost more than $100 because we've opened Pandora's box for nothing more than shits and giggles. What's that? You want to play your older games? Go fuck yourself. We're holding your games hostage unless you pay our ransom fee of an upgrade pack. And do not worry, we have no desire to let these games ever go on sale. Breath of the Wild is still $60.
Jesus fucking Christ, the game came out in 2017!
We don't fucking care, because like a moth to a flame, you'll buy it anyway. And if not from us, from scalpers. The Nintendo Bait and Switch 2. Thank you for watching, and go fuck yourself.
Not too fond of Nintendo.
We're going to make so much money.
I couldn't help but notice that you're a bitch.
Hey man, how did you get here? We're in the Nintendo Void, for God's sake.
Now don't change the subject. You're charging $90 for Mario Kart.
That's the physical version, actually.
You know, you're making EA and Ubisoft look like Make-A-Wish right now. Do you honestly think your audience will pay for your games if just buying one?
The sad part is they will.
The console itself.
Yes.
Look, just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right.
I'm sure our audience are completely fine with it. And who cares? Pre-orders are out, and people are buying it like it's crack. Who just blame inflation or some shit for the increased prices? We can't lose! Do you know how much money we'll make in America alone?
You might actually have a problem with that.
What? Do the Mario swing? Yeah, hang on a second, I gotta take this. Go for Papa Skeletor. Whoa. Nah? What do you mean the pre-orders are off? What tariffs? Oh! Okay, so what's left? Now you me? Where's Miyamoto? What do you mean
Well, have fun with all of that.
Good luck!
What do you mean the camera struggles to pick up melanin? What do you mean? Oh, God damn it!
That was incredibly well animated. I realize a good amount of that was just directly taken from the show, but even then, cutting that out and making it look that fluid was very well done. Jesus. Huh. Well, this has been an eventful slop this time around, hasn't it been, Japanese? Very, very eventful. That was a fun one. Switch to the other screen. Thank you, dear Chathany, for coming by the stream. I appreciate it. If you want to know when streams are going to speak, or what you're going to be doing on any given day, scroll down just a little bit, hit link, follow me on Twitter. YouTube is there. Oh, wait, you're already here, aren't you? All right. Twitch is down there. I stream there, too. Give that a follow. Patreon's down there. Little support. My help. Game cast. Little right. I'm going to go eat something. Like, I don't know, a burrito? Something like that. Thank you, though. We're probably going to stream still on YouTube tomorrow and Tuesday. And do more of RimWorld and Enter the Matrix. And also, since we hit the goal. Thank you, Arissa and Sneck, I believe, for that. I'll poll you guys on what specifically animated emotes you would like to see. So thank you. I'll see you when we get the next one. Take care now, kids. Bye.